Yeah, that was even more defensive of a battle than, I would recommend.
I'm sorry, that was boring football. Can't play a game like that on Monday night. That just puts people to sleep.
And AJC, it is warm in Fort Myers compared to everywhere else. My goodness. Oh, boy.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Marc Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this cold Veterans Day. Hope your week got off to a good start. Thanks for being with us. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Coming at you from Green Bay. Has anybody scored yet? What an interesting NFL week, and that the Thursday and Monday night games were both 10-7. It began and bookended with 10-7 football games. A little more excitement in between. Happy Veterans Day to the men and women who we owe everything to. Thank you. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Good morning. Start by giving a thank you to my brother-in-law, Matt, who served in the Air Force. Thank you. You're a good man. And you're right. If you want to put people to sleep on Thursday and Monday night, give them 10-7, 0-0 at
halftime. First NFL game in over 2 years. It was scoreless at the half. Ooh, it was 3-0 going to the fourth. Both quarterbacks with less than 100 yards passing early in the fourth quarter. Ooh.
Let me just ask you, David, because I was nodding off during the game because it was boring. But did you find it interesting at all, particularly in the first half, when teams are really struggling to score and yet we're going for it on fourth down?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
I mean, the makeup of the game has been put in front of us. Defenses seem to have the edge on offenses today. So why then aren't we trying to pin teams deep? I understand 5 years ago, this was a concept in the league. I don't know if any of you remember, but apparently now it's not a concept anymore. And as the weather starts turning colder and you play games, and I don't think weather was a factor last night, but you know what I mean. As it gets colder, long kicks become tougher and things of that nature in certain buildings. I thought perhaps field position may be on the mind of either coach.
Well, especially since in Green Bay's case, early in the game, it wasn't just 4th and 1s and 2s and 3s they were going for. I mean, they went for it on a 4th and 9 with the ball around the 40. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you haven't scored in a half, and you really think you're going to convert this? I mean, come on. What are the odds you're going to convert this? I mean, do you know how long it took Green Bay to have a pass play that was more than 8 yards? I mean, they had one in the whole first half. And then when Matt LaFleur called up the right play, they dropped it. They didn't know how to line up properly. Jordan Love didn't necessarily make a good throw. I mean, LaFleur's getting all kinds of heat in his offense. And the bottom line is Packers have 3 losses this year. And in those 3 losses, they have given up 16, 13, and 10 points in those 3 losses. If Green Bay could have scored 17 points in their 3 losses, they'd be 8-0-1. But the Packers don't have a lot of weaponry right now. With Kraft, the tight end, out for the year, other tight ends out injured. Josh Jacobs is fine. Goodness knows if you can keep Christian Watson on the field. They don't have much that worries anyone, Mark. That was the thing that struck me last night. When they were driving near the end of the game, down 10-7, and I don't mean in the final 27 seconds. I mean in the drive before their swan song moment. The personnel that was out on the field for the Packers was embarrassing. And their schedule is not easy. They still have 5 division games left. You know, in the NFC North. The Vikings twice, the Bears twice, at Detroit on Thanksgiving. They still have the Broncos on their schedule. On the road. Folks are not happy. They're not used to losing 2 in a row at home. They're not used to scoring 20 total points in those 2 games at home either. So, a slugfest. Not aesthetically pleasing.
No, I mean, Philadelphia got most of their offense on back-to-back plays. The screen pass to Saquon that goes for, 41 yards. The next play they throw for a score, and that was really about it from a standpoint of putting together a lot of offense, 1 field goal beside that. But Green Bay put the ball on the ground a few times. That helped Philadelphia, obviously. So I don't want to be overly negative, and I get all your points on Green Bay. Should we give Philadelphia a lot of credit for winning a game like this? When it turns January, you don't win every game 33-24, if you know what I mean. You have to win with different styles, and that's why when I look at the NFC right now, I would put Tampa as the outlier until they get healthy. But Tampa's shown they can win a few different ways. The Rams have shown they can win different ways. The Seahawks have shown they can win different ways. The Eagles have shown they can win different ways. As far as Detroit and Green Bay, they don't seem to have the same formula to win multiple ways right now, at least to me, David. And we're getting to the point where I'm starting to look ahead. I know it's just early November, but I'm starting to look into January and what is it that these teams have? If you take away X, do they have a Y? If you take away Y, do they have a Z? And I'll give the Eagles credit for winning a game in which things were not working offensively. They made 2 big plays to get that going, but defensively, they were great. They shut the Packers down.
4 sacks, forced 2 turnovers, stopped Green Bay on downs twice. Yeah. They were terrific. They were. And they didn't have to blitz a ton either to harass Jordan Love. It was a lot of 4-man rush. A little bit of 5. That's it. So what I thought I saw, Mark, from the Eagles defensively, how much the acquisitions before the trade deadline have added to the quality depth that they now have. Jalen Phillips helped out a lot last night, and Jalen Phillips played a lot last night. I don't know if he took 10 snaps off. I mean, they are counting on him, and he delivered last night with a good, solid game. And let me tell you something. They got 3 big dudes inside. Whoo-wee. That is a problem. damn. Davis, Carter, and 97. Ho, ho, ho. That's a problem. So Philly gets it done. They are the 1 seed as of this moment in time because of tiebreakers. Seattle falls back to the 2. The Packers now holding on to the last playoff spot in the NFC. Just like that. They've gone from the 1 to the 7 in 9 days. They're percentage points ahead of the 6-4 Niners. We said it when it happened. Is the tie going to work for them or against them?
Well, and it still can work for them, but I think what you pointed out to me is far more important to what lies ahead. I mean, they go to the Giants this week. Yeah, that should be a win. But as you mentioned, they've still got another one with the Lions. They've got 2 with the Vikings. Now, they've got 2 with the Bears. That means 2 wins because that's what happens when the Packers play the Bears. We'll see if it's any different under Ben Johnson and company.
Right. I mean, we'll see. What if it's only a split?
And then at the Broncos, home for the Ravens. So there's not a game on the schedule other than the Giants that you look at Green Bay and that's a win. Now, the Bears have always been a win for Green Bay, but we'll see if this year's any different. Caleb Williams playing pretty well right now.
Miller and Moulton on this Veterans Day, on this cold Veterans Day. How cold is it? Thank you, Match Game, for asking. It's colder in Huntsville than it is in Green Bay.
Socks, shoes, and tracksuit pants for one of the hosts. That's right. Garbage day today. Hit you right in the nose, David.
Ooh-wee.
Didn't do it last night. Got up this morning and said, damn, I got to take the garbage out. This is going to be a test. So the 2-day winter is upon us in Southwest Florida. Be prepared. I issued it yesterday. It is a sock and shoe warning, not an advisory. It is a sock and shoe warning.
This
Dress
is
appropriately.
Blazing red on the screen. This is not yellow. This is not orange. This is blazing red. 23 in Huntsville. 31 in Jacksonville. 36 in Tampa St. Pete. 42 in Fort Myers, Naples this morning. Hello.
Wow.
Colder in Huntsville than Green Bay this Veterans Day.
We will push on however cold it may be, whether in Wisconsin or the frigid temperatures of Southwest Florida.
Frigid temperatures, it's 42.
That's frigid.
I know.
Cover your tomatoes.
Are you talking produce or just someone's tomatoes?
Both. It's important. Didn't say anything about your onions, but I'd put another layer on. Pat Kirwan will join us on this cold Tuesday. And, you know, when Pat's in Florida, he does all of his radio stuff outside, up high.
Right.
Wonder where he'll be today. Probably outside, up high, calling me a sissy. The starting 5, 25 minutes away. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not one but two elite women's college basketball tournaments, the Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power Four teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance. For tickets, go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yes, DC, best gift I was ever given. Radio station, first sports radio station I worked at in Fargo. Did a deal with a company, and I got an automatic car starter. Oh my goodness, what a game changer! Preheat your car. Oh,
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Marc Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Happy Veterans Day. And at the very least, thank you so much to the men and women who protect us and do so much more. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. You know, it's funny. We had a poll question yesterday, and Mark, the New York Giants agree with you. They voted in a big way, and they agree with you. Who do you blame if your team blows a big lead in the fourth quarter in football? The head coach or the players? The Giants have blown 4 such leads this year, and they blame the head coach. And he gone. He gone. They Hawk Harrelson him, Mark. He gone. Second one. We're barely to the midway point of the NFL season. That's the second. We got trade deadlines being active and coaches fired during the season in the NFL. Mark, this league's got some real potential.
Well, and the GM being fired already. I mean, don't sell yourself short, Chris Greer. You're a tremendous slouch. We don't need you either.
That's true.
In fact, the Dolphins yesterday, not only because they had gotten rid of Greer already, got rid of a couple of long-time player personnel people that had been with the organization for quite a while and dumped them also. So the pink slips are flying in Miami, and they're flying with the New York Giants as well. Is Brian Daboll out as head coach? Yesterday, our poll question was, do you blame the head coach or the players when your team blows a big lead? It was extremely close. It was 51-49. And apparently that 51 were the New York Giants ownership group.
Thanks for listening, and we appreciate your vote.
We'll have another poll question for you later in the show.
So, listen, there's no defending the record of anybody associated with that organization. I mean, I think it's the worst in football over the last 10 years. I think they have the worst record in the NFL over the last 10 years, and that includes 2 playoff appearances during that time. But they've been lousy. The last 2.5 years, I mean, what are Daboll and the Giants? Like 11-33? I mean, I believe in Daboll. I do. I think he's a good coach. I think he's been given a bad roster. But, 11-33. We keep score, don't we?
No, there's no doubt. And look at, maybe he'll be great the next time he gets a head coaching job, if he gets one. But it didn't work. It didn't work at all. They as a group made bad decisions. He took the blame for all of it.
Yep.
I mean, Saquon Barkley gets traded. He had really nothing to do with that, but it ends up falling in his lap. I mean, if they had Barkley the last couple of years, what do you think his record would be?
Well, it would have been better. It definitely would have been better. Hell,
Think
Mark,
he could have closed out a couple of these games where they had a double-digit fourth quarter lead? I do.
I think they might have gotten a first down here and there. Might have closed 1 or 2 of them out. Sure. Hell, Mark, I wish they did trade him. At least they would have gotten something for him. But the GM stays. The
Right.
opposite of Miami. Miami seems to really want to keep the head coach.
No matter where he drives after the game.
Why couldn't he just own up to it like a normal human being? I mean, honestly, why is he so weird? Just own up to it. I live in the neighborhood, okay? I've noticed over the years that a couple of the places in the neighborhood are big Bills hangouts. So I was just going home, but I just had a little fun with them. They're a division rival, okay? You don't think if Sean was driving home in a Buffalo outlying area and there were a couple of Dolphins bars that he wouldn't roll down the window and go, "Hey guys, good game"?
No, I don't. I don't think any NFL coach would do that. I really don't. I still don't know whether it was him or someone else. I don't know why he says AI is real. I don't get it. Now, I would think by now we would have enough investigative reporting out there to find out what he drives.
Well, there's more than one video, though.
Right.
There's two other pieces of video that seem to confirm the original video.
For those of you that don't know, apparently on the way home from the game, McDaniel slipped by Fort Lauderdale Beach and drove past the Elbow Room where Bills fans like to hang out. By all accounts, Bills fans good tippers at the Elbow Room. That's what my R&D tells me.
Well, that's important.
I'm just saying, I've had an acquaintance, a guy that I've known for many, many years that plays at the Elbow Room. He's played there for years. And he welcomes the Mafia every year. He does well by the Mafia. They do well by the Mafia. So, for what it's worth, but yes, Mike McDaniel apparently drove past the Elbow Room with the window down. When asked about it, he kind of gave a bunch of coy answers.
Yeah, I just...
That's why I like the good old days when you could trust the internet and the images because that is pretty detailed. I do live in that area. I mean AI, right? What?
Just, dude, was it you or not? And to own up to it. You won. To the victors go the spoils. Okay, you snapped your 7-game losing streak to the Bills. Right? Your team played hard for you. Now, hell, you've got 3 winnable games coming up here. I mean, I actually think it's going to anger Dolph fans if you guys go on a little streak here. This will be the second year in a row. What? Start out 2-6 last year, finish 8-9. Start out 2-7 this year, finish 7-10 or something like that. I think it's going to honk them off. But hey, a win's a win, and you beat a rival.
I do like the fact that I happened to, I wanted to just see his comments. And the article I pulled up was from CBSSports.com. And the gentleman who wrote it, and look, I get a lot wrong. I do. I get it. But Austin Nivison is the person who wrote it. And at the end of the article, he says, with the Washington Commanders coming to town next week, McDaniel or his impersonator may have another chance to swing by the Elbow Room to celebrate a win.
Oh, come on, dude.
Dude, they're playing Washington in Spain. How can you screw up something that simple? If you're writing about the Dolphins, know where their next game is. That's all I ask. I don't think that's too hard. I really don't. But I'm with you. I think if he'd have said, yeah, hell yeah, I drove by there. I was in a mood.
Yeah.
Or no, it wasn't me. It's someone who looked like me. I don't even drive a car like that. But AI is real? Thanks, buddy. You're something. So
the Dolphins still able to bask in the glow of beating their division rival. And it's tough for a fan base that's already thinking about the next coach, but the owner may not be, or at the very least, the next draft and I want as good positioning as possible. But then again, I hate the AFC East teams. And when they beat them, how can I be sad? Even if it did cost me a top 5 pick in the draft. I mean, what are they drafting now? 7th? They might be drafting 16th a month from now. The starting 5 is next.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah!
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
No, Jay Gunn. No. No, and I'm just genuinely answering it. No. He was chest bumping his defensive coordinator during the game. He's constantly touching the players. No. He's just nerdy.
Well, stuffy today, David?
Am I?
Yeah.
God, it must be the equipment. I feel fine.
Well, I can hear every breath you take. And I'm not trying to, sound like Gordon Sumner.
Well, maybe I'm just in really.
You sound stuffy. That's all.
Maybe I'm just in really bad shape.
Aren't we all?
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Pat Kirwan in a little more than an hour as we put all of week 10 to bed. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on this Veterans Day. Thank you to the men and women who have served and are serving and protecting this nation. Right now it is time for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
And the Starting Five brought to you by Lee County in Florida. Chilly Lee County in Florida. Building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. BST. Monday Night Football. The Eagles win a slugfest. 10-7 over the Packers. Scoreless at the half. 3-0 going to the fourth. Eagles defense forced 2 turnovers, 4 sacks, 2 fourth down stops. They were just a touch better. Packers attempted a 64-yard field goal on the final play of the game, which didn't come close. Eagles are the 1 seed in the NFC. If the playoffs started today, they're 7-2. Packers, they were the 1 seed 9 days ago. Now they're the 7 seed. Percentage points ahead of the Niners at 5-3-1, having lost back-to-back home games despite only giving up 26 points. Green Bay's got to figure it out offensively, and they don't have a lot of weaponry. Lots of off-the-field news in the NFL yesterday. The headliner, the Giants fired head coach Brian Daboll. They're 2-8 this year. They're 11-33 in the last 2.5 years. His first year, he led the Giants to the playoffs and a road playoff win and was named Coach of the Year. And co-Giants owner John Mara said to him, quote, "It doesn't take long to go from being Bono to Bozo. Remember that."
Wow.
Yeah. 2.5 years later.
Very philosophical there. Bono to Bozo.
Right. John Mara, along with Steve Tisch, fired Brian Daboll. Offensive coordinator Mike Kafka will take over for the final 7 games of the year on an interim basis.
Too bad they didn't do it on Sunday, because then they could have said Sunday, bloody Sunday.
See what he did there, ladies and gentlemen? Bono. All right, you too. Okay. Dolphins Continue to make some news. They fired the 2 longest tenured people in their organization, co-directors of player personnel, Adam Engroff and Anthony Hunt. I have no problems with that. You could certainly argue over the last quarter century that the Dolphins have not been in the upper half of the league in talent. I have no problem with that. Now, keeping McDaniel, that's a whole other story, but it certainly seems as if a gutting of the Dolphins front office is happening. Dolphins are playing the Commanders Sunday in Madrid. Washington will play without defensive tackle Daron Payne, suspended a game for punching Lions wideout Amon-Ra St. Brown Sunday. And very interesting news out of Cincinnati. When you're on the long-term injured list, there's this 21-day period of time where you're allowed to come back and practice. Now, after the 21 days, you have to be put on the active roster. If not, that player can be lost. The Cincinnati Bengals activated the 21-day practice period for Joe Burrow yesterday. Burrow indicates that he is aiming to play in what is now 16 days, Thanksgiving night, when Cincinnati plays the Ravens. We shall see. Anybody following the Brian Kelly LSU story? Oh, ha! Listen, Auburn looks at LSU and goes, man, we're a dysfunctional mess. We got nothing on you guys. So LSU at first approached Brian Kelly and said, hey, it's $54 million. I mean, come on, that's a lot of money. I mean, can we work something out? And Brian Kelly, through his attorney, said, yeah, we can work something out. Cut the check. Give me my money now. That's what it says in the contract. You're the ones that fired me. Give me my money right damn now in full. There's nothing in the contract that says otherwise. LSU, after trying that approach, last night decided to try well, actually, we didn't technically fire you. And so you walked away from us. So we're not going to pay you this $54 million. In fact, we don't even know how much, if any, we owe you. Is this like Costanza showing back up for work on Monday, pretending he wasn't fired on Friday? I mean, are they really going to try this? I mean, do they not know that there are quotes from the governor of the state and there are multiple press conferences that they've held? Do they think that, like, they can eliminate these tapes? Unbelievable. That's where it's at. I'm not making this up. That's where this story is at today. College football playoff committee rankings come out tonight. Thank goodness to return some order to the sport. We got action tonight, baby. Kent State at Akron. Akron a 6.5-point favorite. 7:30 Eastern on ESPNU. Half hour later, Ohio, 1.5 favorite at Western Michigan, 8 Eastern on ESPN2. Oh, by the way, Gators say DJ Lagway will start Saturday at Ole Miss. Why? Why?
If they think that the second string kid has anything, why are you not playing him?
I mean, come on now. If I'm the second stringer, I gone.
Oh, yeah.
NHL. Panthers. Can we rave about Brad Marchand anymore? He's 37 years old. He's now scored in 5 straight games. He's got 11 goals on the year. I think he's like second in the league.
They're without Kachuk. They're without Barkov. And it took them a little bit. The Stanley Cup hangover was real.
Yeah. But he is carrying them.
No. But I mean, it was real. And now all of a sudden they're, we're 10%, what are we, 12, 15% of the season done. And they're, I think, a point out of the playoffs and playing great hockey and went out west and won games.
Just beat Vegas 3-2. Sam Reinhart ultimately with a power play goal, the game winner midway through the third. The Rangers not only won at home for the first time this year, they scored 6 goals in one game. That shouldn't bode well for the future of the Nashville Predators head coach or half their roster, to be brutally honest with them. Panarin with 2 goals. Rangers double up the Preds 6-3. So the Devils score with less than 5 seconds to go to force overtime, only for the Islanders' Matthew Barzal to score the game winner in OT, 3-2 Islanders. And the Oilers score a short-handed goal in the final minute of regulation to force overtime and then beat Columbus in OT 5-4. Lots of NBA action last night and really good NBA action. To be brutally honest, probably should have been watching some of the association over Monday Night Football. Let's go to Orlando, where Desmond Bane hits his first ever game winner at the buzzer. It was a 3. Magic 115-112 over Portland. Yet that game had nothing on what went on in South Florida. Tied at 138 with 0.4 of a second left in overtime, the Heat run a perfect inbounds play, free up Andrew Wiggins for an alley-oop dunk at the buzzer to beat the Cavs 140-138. Cade Cunningham had 46 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists, and the Pistons needed all of it to get by the Wizards 137-135 in overtime. Check out the video of Wemby and the dagger in Chicago last night. 1-point game, late possession, and 7, what is he, 4, 5? Yeah, dribbling the ball 30 feet from the basket, one-on-one, a step back in your face 3 for the dagger. He had 38. Spurs 121-117 over the Bulls. Luka with 38. The Lakers have won 6 of 7. They won in Charlotte 121-111. Giannis with 30, including the game-winning bucket late. Milwaukee 116-114 over the Mavs. Cooper Flagg, by the way, 26 points, 9 rebounds. Atlanta.
The Mavs, oh, by the way, 3-8 to start the season.
Right. Well, they're no Anthony Davis and, Kyrie's out with the knee ligament for a good chunk of the year. I mean, they're not a good team. Atlanta handed the Clippers their 5th straight loss, 105-102. LA's 3-7. AE is back healthy. Timberwolves 120-113 over the Jazz. Anthony Edwards with 35. And Phoenix got 42 from Grayson Allen in a 121-98 win over the Pelicans. College hoops last night, the 3 ranked teams on the men's side all won easily. 4th ranked UConn, 12th ranked UCLA, and 16th ranked Iowa State handled Mississippi State 96-80. Also on the men's side, the Canes improved to 3-0. They beat Stetson 102-61. On the women's side, the Gators improved to 3-0. They beat Jacksonville 100-55. And on this, the 11th day of the 11th month, at 10 minutes before the hour, that was the starting 5. 5 big stories on this Veterans Day. Here on Miller and Moulton, the starting 5 brought to you by Lee County, Florida, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. BST, but you're still welcome to have a BLT while listening to BTO.
Well done. Well done. I don't think it's a BLT day, though. And I never say it's not a BLT. Today's more of a chilly day.
Hot
Some
chocolate today?
Some soup.
Will we go that far?
I don't, you can. I'm sure the lines at Starbucks will be long, or at Dunkin', they'll be getting their, lattes and all the frothy things that they get there.
Right. The pumpkin spice stuff. Right. It'll be hot today. Colder in Huntsville, Alabama than Green Bay, Wisconsin. Hello. Still below freezing in Jacksonville. Mid-30s in Tampa, St. Pete. Low 40s in Fort Myers. Mid-40s in Naples. And Marc Miller is wearing socks, shoes, and pants.
The second oldest piece of clothing that I own. My oldest piece of clothing is a University of Miami gray sweatshirt that I purchased when I worked in Marco Island when I took a term off of college in, I think, 1990.
Hello.
The sweats are from the first year I traveled with the Atlanta Knights, the now long defunct Atlanta Knights, when they were the AAA team of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Probably the only hockey gear, stuff of all of my travels that I have left, because they're warm, they're lined, they're wonderful, but it's a little hot in the studio. Great for outside. Had to unzip them and pull them up like shorts here in the studio, David. It's quite a look. Quite a look.
The Wisconsinites were asking us, hey, are you guys cold? And I looked right at them. I said, listen, I did 5 years in Fargo. Plus, I'm fat. Okay? Please. Right? Just, we're not all soft. Although I am very soft, if you know what I mean. Miller and Moulton. Pat Kirwan in an hour. Thanks for listening.
The 2025 Industry Appreciation Awards in Fort Myers have wrapped up, but the celebration of business excellence continues, hosted by the Lee County Economic Development Office, Horizon Council, and Horizon Foundation. This annual event honors the innovators, job creators, and community builders driving the region forward. Visit industryappreciationawards.com to see this year's winners and learn how local businesses are shaping a stronger, more resilient economy for Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Marc Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, Be Cape.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Need a poll question, David.
Yes. Do we ask people to describe what they thought of the game last night?
That's assuming they all watched it.
True.
That's the only thing there, because I know I didn't. I've told you this before. By the time Monday comes, I'm kind of, unless the game gives me something, I'm footballed out.
Hey, that's how I was before I had to work it.
Right. I mean, I had to pick up the daughter last night from gymnastics, got her home, made more chicken wings. I had chicken wings for dinner, and I knew the daughter would be hungry, so I made more. And I had them. She didn't really want any. It was wonderful. But I fell asleep on the couch watching it. It was boring. Didn't do anything for me.
Who's going to make the playoffs? The 6-3-1 Green Bay, 5-3-1 Green Bay Packers, 6-4 San Francisco 49ers. Because they're separate.
Who's the favorite in the NFC?
Okay.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Marc Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Veterans Day. Thank you to the men and women who have served and are currently serving. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Week 10 in the books in the NFL with the Eagles' 10-7 win over the Packers at Lambeau.
Pelican Roofing of Florida text line is open. The number is 21,000. The keyword is Miller if you've never texted the show before. So text Miller to 21,000. The gate is open. Then you can text as much as you would like. And sometimes, David, I worry that our audience isn't listening because sometimes they text things right after you say things. And I'm like, were they listening? And during the starting five, we got one of those that I was perplexed about. Gentleman just said you credited Cade Cunningham for the W, but did you see his stat line? I'm like, he read it on the air. 42, 12, and 11.
Yeah,
Like
46, 12, and 11.
46,
That was amazing.
12, and 11. But,
amazing.
but when you read a little more, David, I don't know if you could, because he and I went back and forth, and I had to look this up. Did you see what Cade Cunningham shot from the floor?
Was it not good?
It was terrible. It was as bad as anything that's happened in a long time. David, he made 14 shots from the floor last night.
Okay.
Do you want to take a stab at how many he attempted?
35.
More.
Ooh, that's below 40%. 40.
Let's keep going.
Whoa! Now he's missing 2 out of every 3. 44.
45 shots attempted. According to this gentleman, and I did not have time to look it up, he missed 31 shots.
Wow.
It's the first to do it since Kobe did it in 02.
Wow.
Shoot. And, I mean, he was 2 of 11 from three-point range, which means he was 12 of 34 from inside the arc.
Man, that's like 34%.
Wow. That's
Damn.
chucking.
Yeah.
That's chucking. But they got the W, and that's all that matters, right?
It is an impressive stat line, though. 46, 12, and 11.
Right. But he took 45 shots.
Golly, pass the ball, dude.
Wow.
Pass the ball.
So thank you for that little tidbit.
Yeah.
Because I did not have that. David did not say that, and I
No.
wouldn't look otherwise. I don't dig into every box score like that. I get the highlights, you know. I saw right on here, Cade Cunningham, 46, 12, 11. I'm like, well, that's pretty good in OT. Yeah, Washington's bad, but a win's a win. That's some shooting. Nice shooting, Tex.
So we need a poll question. I think we stumbled upon it late during that commercial break. I wanted to focus on the bottom of the NFC playoff standings and ask, who do you think is going to make the playoffs? The 5-3-1 Green Bay Packers, who have a 611 winning percentage, or the 6-4 San Francisco 49ers, who have a 600 winning percentage. And you said, yeah, I want to go the other way.
Well, and I would go that way if we just said who's going to miss the playoffs and put the Niners, Packers, and Bears in the mix.
Okay.
Because the Bears are 6-3. They've got a lot of tough games ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the Bears are going to be a playoff team when it's all said and done. The Niners, despite all of their losses, seem to figure out ways to get into the postseason. And by losses, I mean injuries, not losses on the field. They have lost so many key players. They are banged up, but they still, you know, we sit here and talk about Tampa and all their injuries. You can't really talk Bucs injuries without talking Niners injuries.
Second to last game of the year, the Niners host the Bears.
Packers and Bears have yet to play one another.
So they'll play twice. But you said, you know what? You like to say the old my $20. Who do you like? And it sounds like you want to say 10 weeks into the season, whether you've played 10 games or 9 games, you want to say, all right, $20. Who's going to the Super Bowl from the NFC right now? Who you got?
And you can all figure out who the fourth team should be. But 3 teams at the top have to be Philadelphia, the Rams, and Seattle. You want to say Detroit's 4? Fine. You want to say Tampa's 4? Fine. You want to say even the Packers, who are right now the 7 seed, are the other team that you think is most likely to represent the NFC? Fine. But to me, at this moment in time, I believe there's a big 3. I don't think the Lions are quite there. I watched them. I don't think that defensively they are at the level of the other 3 teams. I don't. Their offense, lights out. It is. When it's rolling, it's tough to stop. But this just in, when Seattle's offense is going, that's tough to stop. Have you seen what Matthew Stafford's been doing lately?
That would be
And the
13.
Eagles, after all, are the Eagles.
That would be 13 TDs and no interceptions the last 3 weeks for Matthew Stafford.
By the way, do you know by the little roll that they've been on what that takes Matt Stafford's career record to?
Yes, I saw it yesterday.
Matthew Stafford, after winning last week, is now 115, 115, and 1. He was 16 games below 500 with the Lions. He is 16 games above 500 since joining the Rams.
Which I do believe this could be another poll question. There is great debate within the sport. Should winning be a quarterback stat? Because, Mark, let's be honest, you and I have had Matthew Stafford as a Hall of Fame quarterback for at least 2 years now. At least.
And there are people, and I think I would be in this camp because I am not a Russell Wilson guy. But the latter part of Russell Wilson's career, I have heard prominent people in this business say he's playing his way out of the Hall of Fame. Matthew Stafford is doing everything he can do at the tail end of his career to play his way in to the Hall of Fame. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't think he is yet, though. He doesn't have to win another Super Bowl, but I do think he needs to make another playoff run. If he took the Rams to the Super Bowl, win or lose, I think that would get him in Canton. I do.
Do you think it needs to be a Super Bowl appearance, or can he take him to an NFC title game? Couple of deep runs.
Yeah. How many deep runs does he have left?
Well, I know he's, 37?
Right.
I mean, 2009 is his first year in the league. That's a long time ago, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
That's the first year of the Obama presidency. How long ago does that seem?
An eternity, David.
Right.
It really does.
But just for the record, on this date and time, both Eli Manning and Matthew Stafford are 500 quarterbacks.
And we all believe Eli, because of a lot of reasons, and certainly winning Super Bowls, should be at the top of the list. The name might be second on the list, but he's going to be in Canton.
By the way, is Eli's post-playing career helping his Hall of Fame candidacy? Because Eli seems a lot more popular now than he was 5 years ago, 6 years ago when he retired. I think people who didn't have a feeling one way or another, or maybe even a negative feeling towards Eli because they're just tired of the whole Manning thing, kind of like him now.
I think so. I will say, to me, David, when the Manning cast first came out, I couldn't get enough of it. I really enjoyed it. I can't tell you the last time I've turned it on. I don't even know when it's on, nor do I care.
It was on last night.
Thank you.
Well, listen, if there was ever a game to have you find an alternative broadcast, which may have included the NBA on NBA TV, I'm just saying, scoreless at the half, first series of the fourth quarter. And I remember saying to Troy, you do know both $50+ million quarterbacks have not thrown for 100 yards, right? I mean, it was something, and it wasn't windy either. You could not blame the elements for the offense last night. You could credit the defense as much as you want, but some of it was just plain, we can't get out of our own way.
Well, and I thought, what I did watch, Philadelphia defensively they locked on to Green Bay. And Green Bay, without that tight end, there's not much there from an offense standpoint, David.
No, there really isn't. And that's
why they rolled a man coverage and stop them, right? I mean, you were there, but from what I watched, the coverage was, hey, we can play man and we can stop you. You can't beat us.
A lot of zone, and when they did go man, the Eagles do have a young number one corner. Now, I will say Christian Watson at top speed was probably the biggest weapon, that Green Bay has. And they've got to find a way to get him the ball because he's going to get hurt here soon because Christian Watson can't go long periods of time without getting himself hurt. But they are scuffling offensively. And you look at them post-trade deadline, Mark, you're like, where's the weaponry going to come from?
When we come back, it's early in this Southwest Florida winter season, but I'm 1-0. I'll explain next.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
At the Diamond District, we know what you want.
Experience wall-to-wall diamonds during our Diamond event, November 21st through 23rd.
This is our biggest event of the year, featuring an expanded collection of GIA certified diamonds, designer jewelry, and exclusive collections from Takori.
This is the perfect time to start your holiday shopping.
More diamonds, more choices. November 21st through 23rd, only at the Diamond District.
At the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So should we put a fourth up? Green Bay, Detroit, Tampa Bay?
I would put Detroit.
All right. It's up. It's gone.
No, Michael. What's the alternative? And I'm not a Jordan Love guy. But
Michael, seriously, dude?
I mean, do you think the Broncos will move on from Bo Nix after the season? I mean, you got to have something to move on to.
I mean, who are they going to replace him with? Start there before you ask a question that is that silly. Ask yourself the question and say, who are they going to replace him with? Just got a long text from a buddy who's catching up on the show from yesterday and listened to my YouTube rant and has solutions for me with how to fix it and said you can have your daughter help you if needed.
Nice.
So you'd put a rookie in Green Bay. You think they're going to be better with a rookie coming out of the draft than Jordan Love. Michael, if I were allowed to put a listener in timeout for a show, you would be in it. How are the rookie quarterbacks this year faring? And the fact that you said Daniel Jones is one of the more laughable things I've seen all week. And neither David or I are Jordan Love guys, but come on. I know you'd take Knicks before Jordan Love. There's not one GM in the league right now that would, except for maybe the one in Denver. Maybe. But I doubt it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Marc Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour on this Veterans Day. Thank you to those that have and those that are serving. We're very appreciative, very in debt Some of us feeling not worthy. When you run into someone who has served, do you thank them?
Yes.
Do you feel awkward when you're thanking them because you still don't think it's enough? Like, I don't know what more I can and could do and should do, but I say thank you, and then I'm like, that's, a hug would probably be inappropriate. I wish I had
It would be very inappropriate.
a handshake sometimes with the thank you.
If you were better at the bro hug, David, I would suggest that. That would be more awkward than you hugging them.
Getting better. I'm getting better.
You couldn't get worse.
I agree.
I mean, when you start at rock bottom, David, there is nowhere to go but up.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was really bad. It was really bad. I'm a hugger. I'm not a bro hugger. And the first time I was with Mark, and I very awkwardly...
It was at Super Bowl Radio Row.
Right.
It was you and I and Casio, and I forgot what gigantic athlete we had on because we had a plethora. I mean, it was one NFL star after another. I mean,
right.
It was cool. There's just no two ways about it, even for someone. And I say David's in the business more than I am, not because of what he does now, but even then, before he was doing the spotting work, he had been in local TV, so he had interviewed a ton of athletes. I was a hockey guy. But I don't know where I'm from, who I hung out with growing up, things like that. I had no problem. And this was, the early stages of the bro hug. This goes back very early in the days of Miller and Moulton.
Yes.
And we had some NFL player come up and handshake, pull in, bro hug. Casio, handshake, pull in, bro hug. Moulton, regular handshake twisted into a bro handshake into a awkward bro hug. It looked like the guy who's going down to pick up the fumble and kicks it and trips and falls down. That would be the best way to describe it.
You know how when you're not getting a kiss goodnight on the porch, okay, it deteriorated something down that road.
Yes.
So we just can't stop with the handshake. Should it at least be a side hug? Is it okay for me to get a little peck on the cheek? I mean, it was really bad. Okay, so much so that like everybody else involved was kind of looking at me like, what is your problem? And I'm like, I don't do bro hugs. I do handshakes and I do hugs. I'm a hugger.
Right, full on hugs.
Right.
Well, I will say, David, I don't know if I'm going to be getting a hug from the wife anytime soon because last night I scored a big victory at home.
Ooh,
big
tell.
At least to me, because it's cold this morning. For Florida, for Southwest Florida, it's flat out cold. 42, 43 degrees. I don't give a damn. That's cold down here.
It's so soft.
But that's cold.
It
down
is.
here. I mean, it was 80 2 days ago. It'll be 80 in 2 days from now.
Yeah.
So last night, we go to pick the daughter up from gymnastics, and the wife is very soft, and that's okay. She's like, can you drive my car? Because we always take my car to pick the daughter up, and she always rides along. And she says, can you take my car? Because I need gas, which means drive my car. It's too cold for me to get out of the car.
Right.
You're going to fill the tank up.
Right.
No problem. And she chases it with, in fact, I'm sorry, we got home and I'm watching the game and she's getting ready to go to bed. And she looked at me and she goes, are we going to put the heat on tonight? And I just looked at her and said, absolutely not. Not a chance. And she just went, I don't like your attitude.
And you said, just now?
Now?
We're coming up on our 13th anniversary. Just now you've discovered this?
It's a dadgum good point, David. Now that you say it that way, maybe I didn't win as well as I thought I did. But I put my foot down. I said, get an extra blanket, woman.
Woman, huh?
Yep.
Or was that in your head?
That was in my head, David.
Gotcha. Right.
You think that I'm going to say that out loud?
No. I mean, you've got attitude, but you ain't that stupid.
Right.
Right.
I mean, the fact that I was stirred with no heat in the house.
Right. So, really, no heat? That's impressive. I mean, socks, shoes, and pants today. It is in the low 40s where you reside. By the way, still colder in Huntsville than Green Bay. It's 25 in Huntsville, 28 in Green Bay. Hey, they've reached freezing in Jacksonville, and they're still mid-30s in Tampa, St. Pete.
Don't worry, it'll be better in 2 days. That's all I can say, at least for the Floridians. I have no idea what's in store for you, Huntsville. But I scored a win last night. We will go. I am now prepared to go through the rest of the calendar year without putting the heat on.
You don't think you'll need the heat tonight? You don't think she'll just wander over in her flannel, nightwear and just turn it up and turn and look at you like, I dare you to touch it?
She'll try to play the daughter card. That's the direction that she'll go in. It's going to be cold upstairs for the daughter. And I'll be like, I don't care. You turn it on. Once you go to bed, I'm shutting it off.
See,
no heat.
That's not a good argument for her. Heat rises. It's not going to be colder for her. If anything, it'll be better for her.
Wear socks to bed. I don't know what to tell you.
Wow.
But a win is a win.
Wow. Listen, your Monday and Tuesday night victories hurt your Saturday night chances. I'm just saying, though. Okay, you at some point this week, you may have to start thinking about make it happen night. That's all.
You know what? It's a great point, because what I'll do instead of turning the heat on, honey, how about you turn the heat on?
How about we make some heat of our own?
Huh? How about that on a Tuesday night?
Just call up like
in
Barry.
That voice too, and I'll either get slapped, hit, thrown, have something thrown at me while she turns the heat on, or I'll get lucky. Who knows?
I think you should have Spotify on your phone and have Barry White playing when you go, instead of turning the heat on, baby. Have it.
You know what?
Heat of our own.
Exactly. You're my first, my last, my everything. And let Barry White do the talking, baby.
The only problem is, okay, if it ain't happening with Barry White, oh man, that's an L.
Yeah, then it's like, what do those Saturday night games look like?
I was going to say, how about them Vols? Man, they are looking good on ESPN at 7:30.
By the way, miss any of the show, go to millerandmoulton.com or anywhere else that you download your podcast. You can hear me rant about YouTube TV and ESPN's lovers' quarrel yesterday, in which a friend of mine texted me this morning with instructions on how to fix the things on YouTube TV that I found to be broken. He also said, just have your daughter do it. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. By the way, you were hot yesterday with your YouTube TV 4-letter network dispute. Okay. That house didn't need no heating up if you had unveiled that sucker at home.
But we do have a poll question up. Best chance of representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. We give you the Rams. We give you the Eagles. We give you the Seahawks. And the fourth team, the Detroit Lions. Right now, the Rams with the early lead. Go to that, Mark Miller. The David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. Pat Kirwan, 30 minutes away.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122. or nolanagency.com.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You know, that could be a backup poll question. Did you turn the heat on last night? Although I don't know how you couldn't if you were like in Jacksonville or Tampa for that matter.
Look at Seth. Hashtag Team No Heat. Good for you. Must be a little chilly, though, in that place. Be honest. A little chilly. Little bit. Nothing wrong with a little chilly. I love my hotel rooms a little chilly. Listen, you all know I love a good carb. There is no press box with more carbs than Green Bay. Oh, man. Pot pie. Pot pie as a meal last night. Besides brats, pot pie. In fact, there's a poll question. Baked potato with toppings in Iowa, chicken pot pie
Chicken pot pie, and it ain't close.
in Green Bay.
I mean, I let you and Danielson go, but this whole chili on a baked potato thing, come on now.
Now, in fairness, they also offered just cheese. They also offered two different kinds of cheese. You
Yeah,
know, just-
it's not.
okay.
If I'm going to put cheese on a baked potato, it's twice baked. That's just me.
Okay.
You know, I'm a
But come on now, is somebody who spent a lot of time in press boxes. That's a good press box food.
baked potato.
Yeah.
All right.
On
I'm
a
not-
rainy.
I am not playing first take right now. I swear to you, I'm not.
Okay.
It's a horrible press box food.
Why?
It's messy. I mean, first off, anytime you're involved with chili, there's a chance that you could spill it on yourself.
Of course. But, you know, it's
What do you want,
rainy. It's
spaghetti and-
40.
Spaghetti and meatballs in the press box next?
What? No. Can't go wrong with meatballs.
Ooh, a game. I got softball practice. Or I mean, I've got soccer practice tonight, although it's been moved up an hour.
How many parents just sit in the cars tonight for
I,
practice?
I might be one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see all of the chats, Michael. Always can see the chat. Whether or not what you do every morning is you go from one chat room to, once you get some negativity, you run to the other chat room and kind of repeat yourself. I've got exactly what you do down every morning.
Can I revisit something for a couple minutes? And then you could.
Is it the Brian Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got the article in front of me. It's right where I wanted to go.
I was going to say,
Right where I
this is-
wanted to go.
This is an all-timer. I want this to go the distance.
Well, and David, I don't know if we should. I mean, we can relate. There's a time we were fired in which they said on paper we were fired, but wouldn't pay us the money they owed us because they said we quit.
Yeah, but we didn't quit. They were just bad human beings.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Marc Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Matt Kirwan scheduled to join us then. Here on Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you. And then some to the men and women who have and are currently serving.
Watch out for David today, all you veterans. He may want a hug.
Yeah, it's been suggested, like buying meals. I've done that. I feel very inadequate around members of our armed services. I do. I just, don't know that a handshake, a thank you, even, anonymously paying for the meal. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get, political here, but, I'd give them like free health care for life. I swear. I'm in awe of people who serve this country. I really am. So, I'll do my best to try not to come off like a fool today.
Well, just stay away from the bro hug and you should be fine.
Right. We have established that I would bro hug you, but it would be very embarrassing. And then I'd be the creepy old guy. And, it just, how about a handshake? Thank you.
Pelican Roofing of Florida text line is open. Just curious, did you turn the heat on last night? And if you're in Tampa, Jacksonville, Huntsville, I know the answer damn well should be yes. You Southwest Floridians, did you hold out or did you turn the heat on last night? But we have a poll question, best chance of representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. Right now, the Rams getting nearly 2/3 the vote. Seattle in second, Philadelphia in third. What What did they do last year?
And 2 years before that, they 2 of the last 3 years,
Right.
Three of the last 7, actually. Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, they're really good, consistently good. In fact,
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I know we brought this story up an hour ago, but we did it briefly. And besides, audiences change from segment to segment. I just want to throw out the disclaimer, Mark, before you give the meat and potatoes of the story. What we're about to tell you is true. It is 100% true. Okay?
The names and people have not changed.
No, that we're not changing the identity. We're not protecting anyone. What we're about to tell you is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us. And with that, Mark, take it away.
Well, Brian Kelly was fired. You all know that. Or was he?
Wait, what?
Because LSU has taken the position that it has not formally terminated Kelly. And according to the petition for declaratory judgment, is now seeking to fire Kelly for cause to potentially avoid paying the full buyout of $54 million.
So they're claiming because he hasn't shown up for work for the last 2 weeks, now they can fire him with cause? Is that it?
According to the copy of the suit obtained by the Four Letter Network, LSU's representatives had a call with Coach Kelly's representatives, where LSU took the position that Coach Kelly had not been formally terminated and informed Coach Kelly's representatives for the very first time that LSU believed grounds for termination for cause existed.
Of course, what they're really saying is, A, we don't want to pay you the $54 million, and B, where we come from, 5-3 is cause. That's cause for termination as a football coach.
Now, let me just give you a quote. Right now, we've got a $53 million liability. We are not doing that again. By the way, that quote is from the governor of the state of Louisiana.
Why would they have a $53 million liability if they never fired him? Didn't he and the, for a short time, interim AD, now full-time AD, haven't they been talking about hiring the next coach and what that coach will represent?
Now, I will say the one kicker in this whole thing, David.
There's only one, huh?
Well, this is the one that I am focusing on.
Okay.
Because the 48-page lawsuit, 48 pages, by the way, all right?
I don't know that it needs more than 48 words. You claim we owe you $54 million. We never fired you. We don't owe you a dime. See you in court. Sincerely, LSU.
But see, when you have a lawsuit in today's world where, I don't know, the world's pretty crazy, or at least this country's pretty crazy right now. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I think we all agree things are a little nuts. But it was filed in the 19th Judicial District for the parish of East Baton Rouge.
Okay.
Edge, LSU. That's all I'm saying, David.
You think the fact they have home court standing, okay, is going to help them here?
It's not going to hurt them. Now, I don't think that, I mean, David, they think they have cause to fire him.
Can we call Marc Moscona and say, hey, can you do us a favor? Can your poll question today in New Orleans and Baton Rouge simply be, were you of the understanding that LSU fired Brian Kelly? Yes or no?
LSU has never claimed that Coach Kelly was terminated for cause, and prior to November 10th, 2025, never asserted that he engaged in any conduct that would warrant such a termination.
No, he just lost too many games.
This is from, Brian Kelly's people. To the contrary, LSU repeatedly confirmed, both publicly and to Coach Kelly, that the termination was due to the team's performance, not for cause.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of not a lot, but there's some legalese in that quote. But yeah.
Now, if you want to set legal precedent and go into court and simply make the case that going 5-3 is cause for termination, I would try to argue that.
Now, Kelly's contract includes a for-cause termination clause that allows for his firings due to material and substantial NCAA rule violations, being convicted of a felony, or any crime involving drugs, gambling, or alcohol, engaging in serious misconduct, which either displays a continual or serious disrespect for the mission of LSU, or constitutes moral turpitude.
Okay.
Now, I will say, David, the engaging in serious misconduct, which either displays a continual or serious disrespect for the mission of LSU, there may be some grounds there. 5 and 3 is disrespect of LSU.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the music video, okay, and the fake accent. That's what I thought they were going to try to argue in court, that was grounds for dismissal with cause.
There's part of me that wants this to go to court so Brian Kelly's people can say, for our first witness, we'd like to call the governor of the state of Louisiana.
Correct. No. If you and I were Brian Kelly, okay, it's that Jim Calhoun quote, and I don't know if there are 19 people that are familiar with it, but Miller and Moulton are 2 of them. All right, the state of Connecticut was having a budget problem. Jim Calhoun's the highest paid at the time employee in the state, and before the reporter could get the question out, Calhoun said, "Not a dime, not a damn dime. I'm not giving back a dime. If I'm Brian Kelly, we're going to trial, and I'm going to have you pay my legal fees. I'm getting your incompetence on the record." Okay, honest, I'm laughing my butt off. And you know what? I'm getting $54 million from you. Even if you don't have to pay my legal fees, I'm going to pay it just to see this sucker to the end.
What's interesting here is that, the lawsuit, it says, goes into great lengths to details the process for cause, which that doesn't seem to have any grounds. But it also details that LSU attempted to settle with Kelly multiple times,
right,
including an email that details offers from LSU to settle with Kelly for $25 million and later $30 million. Well, wait a minute. If you're trying to settle with Brian Kelly for $30 million, where's the cause? I mean,
are you
in
settling
one sentence you
for?
say there's cause, and another one you have an email that you're trying to settle. Aren't you kind of losing the case in the same document?
They just don't want to pay him the money, and they don't want to have to pay him it this week. And apparently in the contract that the former athletic director, by the way, is that the second witness that we're calling, Mark, as
the former athletic director that hired him? Right.
Right. Okay. You hired Brian Kelly, didn't you? Yes. Did you fire him? Okay. Thank you. We're done with this witness, Your Honor.
So this is every part of this is fantastic.
This is beautiful. This is so LSU.
Right. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, though. Doesn't Kelly have the clause in this contract that if he works again, it's that whole, he gets
No, I don't think so. I think Brian Kelly, if he works again, gets to double dip. James Franklin, okay, he doesn't get any more than what he's getting at Penn State unless somebody pays him more money. He's essentially working for free at his next job. By the way, are you hearing Arkansas for Franklin?
Well, it was Vatech was hot and heavy for a while.
Right. I just thought I heard something last night about Arkansas. I'll be curious where they go. But back to this one. This is and by the way, is this not a bad look for the person they're trying to hire, whoever that is? I mean, listen.
Well, if you're Lane right now, really?
Wow.
I mean, and look it, David and I have thought Lane's staying, but we also thought if he were to leave, we thought it would be more likely because in this third, fourth act of Lane Kiffin, whatever you want to call it, being liked seems to be more important to him than it was before. If that is indeed the case, then he ain't going to LSU.
No way. They're border rivals. He would be dead to the people in Oxford. Seriously, you cannot leave Ole Miss.
They'll be pissed if he goes to Gainesville. They'll hold their noses and be really, really angry. But if he won a natty with the Gators, the Ole Miss people would be like, see, we helped him get that. If he goes to LSU, they'd want to light him on fire. They would.
They would.
So if you're Lane sitting watching this, if anyone, you really want this job?
I was going to say, you're telling your lawyer and your agent, I want the most ironclad. I want you to put things in writing you never thought you'd have to put in writing before.
Which means maybe the governor's going to force him to hire the Tulane guy. I don't know.
Have any of you ever been fired only for your boss or former boss to then allege after the fact that you weren't fired?
I am not going to speak on this subject.
Because, by the way, Miller and Moulton have had that happen to them.
Yep.
You know, the two guys who always show up for work. I mean, the only person who shows up for work more than us is Pat Kirwan. Honestly.
True. Pat Kirwan works so much, he thinks we're slackers, and we don't take very many days off, period.
Right. We take less than 10 a year.
But Brian Kelly wants his money. LSU does not want to pay the man his money.
Exactly.
That's what this is all about. And they filed a lawsuit trying to get out of paying him the $54 million that they owe him. It's as simple as that.
This is the reverse Costanza, is what this is, right?
Yes.
Costanza got fired on a Friday, shows up for work on Monday, and pretends that nothing ever happened. And they're like, what are you doing here? We fired you. You didn't fire me. Okay. This is the reverse Costanza. Does LSU have to call Jason Alexander as a witness? I mean, seriously. Larry David and Seinfeld, they were the ones that wrote the episode.
Well, Larry David did it when he was with SNL. He quit. He showed back up. That's where the whole episode came from. It's a real life story for Larry David.
Right.
Our real life story involves Pat Kirwan. We'll look back at everything happened that last week in the NFL with Pat. That's next on Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
This year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not one but 2 elite women's college basketball tournaments, the Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power 4 teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance. For tickets, go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Honey, you want to come out? I haven't seen you since Glass Doctor installed our custom shower enclosure.
No thanks.
Well, you can't keep eating breakfast in the shower, and laminating your magazines is getting expensive. You remember we have guests coming over tonight, right?
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to see the shower.
It's our neighbors, and I highly doubt they want to be hanging out in our bathroom.
The shower's so good, you'll never want to leave. Visit glassdoctor.com today and schedule an appointment online.
Marc Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
Good morning, Mark.
Morning, Pat.
Thanks for your keen insight into the sleep number bed.
Well, I knew what was going on. You said a while ago what was going on. So every time I hear that read, I hear how uncomfortable he sounded.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I listen to you guys every day, and I heard it yesterday, and I just started giggling in the car. I'm like, yeah, oh boy, Jim, finally you're solo with the sleep number.
Yeah. You can have both sides of that bed, Jimmy. Did you hear the old lady that called in about that?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh, my God. She might be 75, 80, but she said, well, Jim, whenever you do that commercial, I think of the frisky Jim. So are you having it on the mountainside or in the valley? I couldn't stop laughing. She's always asking a really serious football question, and then she launches that one on us.
All right, so Pat, I should wait to go on air, but I did see your broadcast setup. Where are you doing this interview from this morning?
Well, I finally got to Florida at 2:00 in the morning last night.
Are you outside on the porch?
Yeah.
Oh my, it's 43 degrees.
Come on. My wife spends a lot of money to get air conditioning. I told her, you're getting it for free today, and I opened the doors.
You're rotten.
Hey, you like it cold? We got cold.
Got that right.
No. So Sunday, I'm in the middle of the show. I get a call that my flight's canceled, my 8:30 p.m. flight Sunday night. So they said, pick one of these and we'll rebook you. So the only one I could actually stay at work was 6:15 or something. So I'd have to leave after the first round of games and a little bit of the first quarter of the second round. So I took that. I go to the airport. Now I'm on plan 2. I sit there until, I don't know, 10 o'clock, 10:30 when they finally said it's canceled. It was raining and foggy, and now they had a new excuse. So I now booked myself for the Monday morning flight at 7:20, and I go home. And at 5 o'clock, I'm putting my bags in the car, and they cancel that flight. So now they go, which one would you like? Same story as the day before. So the only one I can get on is the 8:30 flight because I got to do a radio show till 7. So I booked myself for that. I get to the airport. It has not been canceled. I'm shocked, but it doesn't leave till 10:30.
Ugh.
And then when we get out on the tarmac, they announced, which we all knew, they're slowing down our release times. So even though we're number 4 for takeoff, it might be another half hour. 2:30. Anyway, I'll go to sleep. When I get done with you, I got coward, then I'll just go back to bed or something. Yeah. And now I got to go to Denver. I don't know, David. Good luck to you. Hopefully things will calm down now. But
Well, I mean, my flight back, it's one flight. It's out of Chicago. This United Airlines supposedly have locked in all their flights through tomorrow. We'll see. I know somebody who was standing at a gate on Sunday morning, minutes away from boarding his flight, who then had the flight canceled, with 150 people standing there. So,
yeah. Well, I'll say something funny later.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Marc Miller and David Moulton.
And we're halfway home on this Veterans Day. Thanks for being with us, and thanks to all who have and are currently serving. We owe you so much. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Our poll question today, our $20, who would you pick to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl? Your choice, the Eagles, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Lions. Who would you pick of those four? And at last glance, you all are leaning in a big way in the Rams' direction. Maybe it's the 13 TDs and no interceptions from Matthew Stafford the last 3 weeks. Pat Kirwan joining us right now. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chain, CBS's NFL Today show, and he joins us twice a week throughout the football season, courtesy of Pinchers from Tampa to Key West and all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh, and it's stone crab season. Hey, Pat.
Good morning, fellas. Good to hear your voices as we enter the next phase of the season. So if the playoffs started today, Green Bay would be going to Seattle. I'll take Seattle. Chicago's going to Detroit. I'll take Detroit. The Rams are going to Tampa, and I'll take the Rams. I like those games. Jacksonville to Denver, that's never going to happen. Jacksonville's fading like crazy. Buffalo to New England, I'll still stick with Buffalo. And the Chargers would go to Pittsburgh, but we know Pittsburgh's not going to make it there. It's going to be the Ravens. So more volatility in the AFC right now than the NFC. I think the NFC is kind of shaping up pretty quickly.
All right, well, let's talk about the NFC. And you heard our poll question there, and a lot of people picking the Rams right now. Pat, I've asked you about the NFC a lot, and you've said, about teams that have multiple ways to win. What did the Eagles show you last night about that fact, about that they did it with defense last night, that they figured out how to win a game when the offense wasn't working on the road? And when January comes around, typically there's a game like this. I thought this spoke very highly of what the Eagles can do. Jalen Phillips, who just came over, had a really nice game. That's a nice addition. So your thoughts on last night's game and what that makes you think long range about the Eagles?
Well, at the trade deadline, they got a little serious, and they went and got a pass rusher, and they keep saying how much they're happy to have Phillips. So I do think I worry a little bit about the quarterback, but he's a proven Super Bowl champion, so I shouldn't really. He's just not your elite passer type. He's just a good athlete. I think they know how to rise to the occasion. They remind me of Kansas City when it comes to how to rev it up and go to the next level in postseason. And so they're experienced in that. But to your point about can you win either side of the ball, I would say Seattle's one of those teams. The Rams are one of those teams. And for me personally, so are the Detroit Lions. I do think they can get you. Maybe not to the same degree as everybody, but I think the Rams definitely can do that. And I have a lot more faith in Detroit, either side of the ball, than probably some.
Pat, are you concerned about the Packers? What concerned me late in the game last night was not that they were losing and would ultimately lose, is that we're past a trade deadline. And I look at their, quote, weaponry, and they don't have any. They have Josh Jacobs, and they have the very unpredictable, inconsistent Christian Watson, and no one else that is going to intimidate any secondary. I'm not sure where their points are coming from the rest of the year. What do you see?
I see the same philosophy that's been in Green Bay for a long time. They just aren't one of those teams like Philadelphia that's going to jump up and get guys to fortify the roster. They believe in the draft. Now, they went out and got Josh Jacobs, and he was the first guy you mentioned as someone who's a weapon. But ultimately, the Green Bay Packers believe that they can. First of all, I think they wake up and think our roster is good enough to win a Super Bowl. And that opening day win over Detroit really fortified their philosophy. But you're the man who loves trades, and you're the man who likes action. Have the Packers ever really surprised you? they'll go get an elite guy every 5 years, but ultimately, I don't think they believe at all in free agency.
I'm trying to think the last time the Packers made a bold trade. They've made a few bold free agent signings. I'm going to date myself. I think they acquired John Jefferson from the Chargers in the early 80s, early in a season. It's really, I think, the last time they've made a bold. And I look at Green Bay, and Pat, I may lump the Bills in also. You look at the Bills' weaponry. It's Josh Allen, it's Cook at tailback, and then, quite frankly, it's just a bunch of guys.
Well, but philosophically, they're different. They will go try to get guys, and Brandon Beane has done a lot of stuff in years past at the trade deadline. He'll go get free agents that he's had his really keeps him alive on the side until he needs them. But they're at least aggressive relative to the Packers. Packers, to me, this is our roster. We gave you a uniform. We're going to play you. And if the starter goes down, we're going to play the guy behind you. And it's been a long time since they've been in the big game. And sometimes we have an image of the Packers as one of the best teams, an elite team, if you will. But when you really start peeling it back, outside of that big surprise win in Dallas with Love a couple of years ago, what were they doing before that? And all I know is when I was walking out of that stadium after opening day, they were booking hotel rooms at the Super Bowl. And you could not tell. They get insulted and mad at me when I say after that game, that was a great game. You guys played great. It's a long season. They kind of think you don't like us or you hate us. You know, it used to be the Cowboy fan who used to say, you're a Cowboy hater. No, I'm not. I don't care who wins. I just watch and see, do you have what it takes to go the long distance, which is 17 games in a postseason run, and believe in your quarterback? I'll ask the two of you, do you believe in Jordan Love?
No, I don't. I know David doesn't.
No. So if you start with the quarterback and say, yay or nay, I like the quarterback, we'll say yes about the Rams. I'll say yes about Detroit. And then you can always get a surprise win out of Tampa. But ultimately, if you start with, I don't really think I believe in this quarterback, then you can might as well scratch him off. Because every time the three of us sit down at championship weekend, there's 4 teams left. There's usually the best 4 quarterbacks, or at least 3 of the top 4. So I don't see the Packers going the distance, but they believe in their system, and they're lucky in a nice small town. If you were trying to run that philosophy by New Yorkers, they wouldn't buy it. That doesn't mean the fans are right, but they have the luxury of no one challenges them up there.
Well, it's interesting because the Jags kind of have that same treatment, although the local media went after them after this past game. I mean, that, Pat, I don't know if Jacksonville was going to do anything in the playoffs, but if they get the horse in the barn on Sunday, they might have been a playoff team. To me, the whole season disappeared in that fourth quarter against the Texans.
Did you see Liam Cohen throw his headset at the end of the game?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was going to kill an offensive assistant. He threw that thing down hard. That thing doesn't work anymore. I know that. So it goes right back to, what was the most revealing thing at the end of the game? Forget the fade. It was, to me, Trevor Lawrence. What, did he take a sack and then a fumble? And, the guy, again, I like Jordan Love twice as much as I like Trevor. We already discussed Jordan.
Well, a very prominent member, in fact, a few prominent members in Jacksonville have come out in the last 36 hours and simply said, pardon the pun, he's a Jag, just a guy.
Someone's listening to our show.
Yes, that even in Jacksonville now, they're coming to the conclusion. Now, I will say, the quarterback's paid a boatload, but Josh Hines Allen's paid a boatload. Trayvon, since he got hurt, I mean, they ain't getting any sacks either. I mean, the quarterback can't make a winning play for them, and their most expensive defensive players can't get a quarterback on the ground and get a stop when they need to. I mean, they got they got real issues because those are the people they're spending their money on, and they ain't going to be cheap to get rid of.
No, and I think maybe that's Liam's frustration. He's a very competitive guy. He was used to coaching Baker, who you'd never worry about that part of it. The game-winning drive guy, the 2-minute drill guy. So now he's got this guy with a gigantic salary who's got every physical credential you want. And when it was time to roll up your sleeves and compete, what did he do right? Wasn't it the first play of the third quarter? He threw a shallow cross interception. You go back and look at that play and forget the play. He threw the pick. We all saw it. Look at Trevor. It was like, oh, darn. What would Baker do in that moment? He'd be spitting nails. Nope.
Well, Baker has to spit nails because, well, the Patriots took it to them. And I know that Tampa's banged up, Pat. I get it. No, the receivers are hurt. Running backs hurt. They got one of their linemen back. But what New England went and did, I was disappointed, one, that it sounded like a Patriot home game. But you have to give the Patriots and Drake May credit. They didn't have a lot of great plays, but the ones they had all counted.
Oh, it's very impressive to see what Mike Vrabel's doing and how he's got the mindset of this football team. And they're doing it with a young quarterback. He's going to have a lot of hurdles to get all the way to the Super Bowl, but they're a good football team. And their win combined with Buffalo's ridiculous loss to the Dolphins probably is going to lock up the division for the Patriots. They have a 2-game lead and they beat them. Vrabel is not going to take his foot off the gas pedal. Back to David's comment, what's really in Buffalo? So I don't know. I always, once a week, I write down who I like for Coach of the Year, and then I count them up. At the end, I'm a voter, so then I count them up. And so Shane Steichen gets a few of the weeks for me. Mike McDonald got a few. Vrabel's got a couple right now in a row. And those 3 guys are leading my voting as I go through it. Other guys have dabbled in this stuff. McVay and Dan Campbell, of course, calling his own plays. Bill Cowher and I were laughing. Cowher did that. He said he lasted 1 week. He was so exhausted he had to stop.
More with Pat Kirwan after this.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not 1 but 2 elite women's college basketball tournaments, the Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power 4 teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance. For tickets, go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Pat, I wouldn't ask you this on air, but we've got our Twitch people who are listening and always put in questions. Do you use Pro Football Focus for anything?
No.
I didn't think so.
No. I do my own work, and nothing against them. I feel bad for callers that constantly call and quote Pro Football Focus as their full resource. And when I ask them if they watched the game, I usually can figure out, or they admit they didn't. Or I had people over, I wasn't really watching, so I no. No. Nothing wrong with them. Great for the fans. I feel bad for clubs that reference that. It's called, you got someone who you don't even know doing your work. And I don't have anybody doing my work.
Kind of what I thought.
It's kind of like, that's how I was raised. And, you know, if you're going to have an opinion, it better be based on what you think. And people would think I don't like them. I think they're a nice source of information for a fan. But it's not a Bible. I like to stay on top.
It is amazing how, I mean, you know, David's made his complaints because Collinsworth owns part of the company, and then they're using that on NBC regularly. It's kind of double dipping, but.
Well, Paul Alexander's part owner of that. And I know when I call Paul about linemen, I have my ear to the grindstone because I know he's doing the work. But in general, I don't like to rely on sources that are just in the business of it. And I don't know, like, it's kind of like analytics in general. You can go into a game with some presumptions of what you might think you should do. But when the starting left guard is out with an injury and then you got an ankle on the pass rush, you know, all that stuff changes everything. And I'm getting a little tired of watching guys going for it all the time.
Well, not just that. Last night, neither team can score, and they're going for it at midfield on fourth down when offense isn't doing anything. What happened to pinning a team deep and then try again? I didn't get it.
No, and, you know, you hear defensive-minded head coaches say punting the ball is not a bad thing. And the other problem with all this stuff, focus and analytics, is that the guy across the field, he has the same data you have. There's nothing new. So you have two guys with the same data, and they're out there making, I don't know what game it was Sunday. If Cowher said it once, he said it 10 times, kick the field goal. Just take the points. And they didn't do it. I think it was the New Orleans game. It was probably the New England-Tampa game. But I was like, we subject the fans to this one philosophy, and it's kind of ridiculous. Nope. And I don't really want to sound like I like anyone who's working on football. I just rather do my own work. That's my answer to everything.
Yep.
I don't have a problem getting up at 5:30, working till I go on your show or till I can't go anymore. And I like to work on this stuff. If I didn't like to do this, I would just quit radio, and I would quit CBS as well. I like doing it. And when the day comes, I
couldn't believe why. I'll get all over Liam Cohen for a few things, but one of them was you go up 29-10. You go for 2?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not that smart, Pat, but if you're up 20, it takes 3 touchdowns to catch you. You know, 19 is 8-8-3.
Yeah.
They're doing that. I'm going, what are you doing? I don't get it. I get when you're coming from behind and going for 2. I don't get it all the time, but I hate teams that chase points. And when you're in the lead, not just taking points that are there for the taking makes no sense to me.
No, I'm with you 100%. And I should try to get Bill Cowher on your show. You know his record when he had the lead in the fourth quarter? 100 wins, 1 loss.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes after the hour. Our remaining moments with Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, CBS's NFL Today show. Pat, joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Go to pinchersusa.com. It's the holiday season. Gift cards, pinchersusa.com.
All right. Dable fired. I don't think any of us are shocked by it. I know you're not a big fan of mid-season firings. Does this make any sense to you, or is this something they should have waited for, or did it just have to happen?
Well, I think the owner has, the way they've lost 3 times, David's a big Giant fan, the way they've lost and surrendering leads, he finally got to the end of his straw on that one. But a couple things are the ripple effects of it. Now, Kafka's the guy when he was in Kansas City that really dedicated an entire year to getting Mahomes ready. And Coach Childress was there, and he told me how much Kafka did every morning at 6 o'clock. It was just so he's got a good history, but he's never going to be the head coach. And you tell me, guys, when a guy's the interim head coach, does he ever stay on as back to his assistant job?
No, because he realizes that he's reached a ceiling where he's at, so he might as well go elsewhere where he has a chance to break through that ceiling.
Right. So, I mean, I think he's a pretty decent coach. But anyway, they're going to do it. So now the question becomes, what are they going to do next? So I got asked that yesterday. Mike McCarthy would be interviewed. Now, remember, unless they change after the season, they're going to have this GM run the search. And we also know John Mara is dealing with health, and he's going to need more and more from his guys inside. So are they going to land up letting the GM stay and run this whole thing? Those guys are inclined to get a guy that usually calls for the young guy profile, which is okay. It's not my idea what they should do in a city like New York. McCarthy, when he was in Dallas, had a lot of those double-digit win seasons, and he doesn't need any downtime to get ready. Plus, he's coached a lot of quarterbacks. I like him. Someone thought Lane Kiffin should come. I don't think that's going to happen. I'll tell you, the one young guy that I would definitely be serious about is Clint Kubiak. And what's going on out there, he's really in charge of it. Talk to the head coach every week. The head coach is a defensive guy. Clint's done a very nice job. He was raised right. He spent a lot of time with Stefanski in Minnesota. That's how I got to know him. But that's if you're going to go young guy, that's the kind of guy that I would be interested in. He's learned a lot from Mike, too.
I think the Packers defensive coordinator's in play. The Giants have a lot of ties to Boston College. He was the head coach there before he spent these last 2 years as the Packers defensive coordinator. I wonder if they'll give Spagnuolo a call. He was the interim coach when they fired Joe Judge a few years ago. I wonder, Steve's has not always closed. He's not fully closed the door on being a head coach again. I don't think there are many places he would do it. I think that's one. I'm curious if they'll bring in an adult, and goodness knows Spags is, and they need more help on his side of the ball than they do on the other.
I'm big, and I'm a fan of Steve's for a long time. Right after he got out of Springfield College was when I got to know him. Yeah, I would love it. I don't know that they're going to. They should bring him in because the interview with him, A, they know they're going to get the truth. B, he's going to be so prepared to tell them what's wrong with their defense and maybe what's wrong with how they run the organization. They may not want to hear everything he has to say, but he knows a lot about them, and he knows really where the warts are. So he'd get more than a full day. He'd be there for a couple days. And they might find out what the truth is about how they have to do business, because he's learned a lot going back and returning to the world of Andy Reid. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. But you got this young quarterback. So any of the defensive guys got to convince me in the interview that they're going to develop the quarterback. They don't have to do it themselves. There's plenty of defensive head coaches in this league. Look at Vrabel. Yeah, he got Josh McDaniels, but there's a bunch of these defensive guys that are running nice offenses. Just tell me who's going to coach the kid.
Pat, I am curious about Dan Campbell calling plays and the difference, not just Dan, but the difference between the Liam Cohns who call the plays every week, the head coaches that don't. And Dan took over play calling for a week. But how different was his role in the week leading up to the game if he was calling plays? Because I'm guessing you're with both sides of the ball all week at practice and meetings, etc. Where if you're an offensive play caller, you're focused on one side of the ball. So just explain to me the difference maybe of what Dan Campbell's week was like last week as compared to when he was letting his OC call the plays.
Well, he's got to change his schedule. So he's a very diligent guy. He wasn't going to take the play call sheet and just start calling plays. So he got involved all week, and that team needed a spark, and he is the flat-out leader of the team. So I know it highly motivated the offense that he cares enough about our side that he's going to do it. And I also think he was trying to prove to his OC, these are the things I want you to do. And we've talked about it before, and one of them is Jameson and making sure he gets more targets, etc. So he did it. It was funny. Now I'm standing there with Coach Cowher, and Coach Cowher did it. And he's a defensive guy that decided to call plays. He was too frustrated with the offense. And he did it. And after 1 week, he said, I really can't do it. This is to your question, Mark. He said, I can't do this because I can't do the other things I do to stay on top of the whole game. Just the decisions on timeouts and challenges and what's the defense doing. He goes, my head was down the whole time. And the guy upstairs kept saying, Bill, you got to make the next call. You got to make the next call. And he didn't think he was going to be effective if he kept doing that. So he didn't last very long at it. But he made his point that he's got his eyes on the offense. I think Dan Campbell's made his point. He might move a little bit away from it, doing it all the time. He's never said he's going to keep doing it. So I think he's smart enough to know we'll see this week to week how this goes.
Pat, is it as simple as the quarterback has gotten hurt? But Washington was in the NFC Championship game last year, and they quite frankly right now look like, I don't know if they're going to win another game. I mean, they're getting beat badly.
Well,
badly. And is
the
it
answer.
More than just Daniels?
Yeah, of course it is. It's and they made some decisions that I wondered about. Like they lost their pass rusher, double-digit guy, went back to Dallas. So the defense, to me, on a number of levels, they're older, number one. They lost their pass rusher that could at least know where protection was going, which set up the pressure calls. Now Dan Campbell's going to call the defense. Danny Quinn. So that's the first one. Then they got rid of Brian Robinson. And just because you like a rookie in summer camp, I wouldn't do that. They also let their other defensive tackle go away too. So I thought the defense got weaker personnel-wise and a bit older. They had a couple guys they drafted that didn't work out. They let them go, the cornerback back there, the real fast kid. So they're not as good on defense. I don't think their depth at running. Right after they said goodbye to Robinson, Eckler got hurt. So they got wounded a couple places. And that's not even diving into the offensive line. But the quarterback's a huge issue because he was a runner. That guy moved the chains with his feet. You combine that with the lack of depth at running back, the defensive issues, and you get this. And they are a mess right now. And, there's hot teams. I got 7 or 8 hot teams, but they're one of the coldest with a 5-game losing streak. And maybe you're right about them not winning again. Now, don't they have to go to Madrid this week?
Yep, to play the Dolphins. Absolutely. Dolphins could go on a little mini run here. He's Pat Kirwan on Miller and Moulton.
Mini for sure.
Let's talk the big differences between floor meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton. You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Marc Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Marc Malusis, the Moose, will join us at the top of the hour. He covers the New York sports scene on radio and television. Get a little in-depth about the Giants, what they did, where they're going, who's making the decisions. The Moose to join us at the top of the hour. Pat Kirwan just joined us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline. All our guests appear on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Could have done at least another segment with Pat because I was just getting started with questions. Like I have, the Vikings. 2 weeks ago, they looked unbelievable in taking down the Lions. J.J. McCarthy looked like the guy. And maybe it's just that he's a young quarterback. But they play Baltimore, who had been giving up points to nearly everybody. Did Baltimore figure something out on defense? Was McCarthy just bad in that game? Help. I'm trying to figure out what the Vikings are. Because you and I both love their personnel that's not their quarterback. But the way McCarthy played against Detroit, that's a team that can compete in the postseason. The way he played against the Ravens, they're not going to make the playoffs.
No, they're not. And they're now the best last place team in the league?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hell, are the Packers the best third place team in the league? The AFC West may raise their hand and say, well, I don't know about that. But
if the Niners played the Packers right now, neutral field, I think the Packers would be favored.
Right, but the third place team in the AFC West is the Chiefs.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said NFC West. Yeah, I think the Chiefs would raise their hand. I think the Niners would raise their hand as well.
But, let's face it, Mark, we're not very patient as a society anymore.
No, we're not.
But to the point of ridiculousness. When you commit to a young quarterback, 98% of the time, the young quarterback is going to struggle or be inconsistent at best. Every now and then, you get a young quarterback that performs like Jaden Daniels, that performs like Andrew Luck and RG3, that performs like Dan Marino. Peyton Manning led the league in interceptions as a rookie. He threw nearly 30 of them.
Aikman was 1-15 his rookie year?
And he was 0 for the season. They got their one win with the backup. Part of committing to the young quarterback is you need to commit to the inconsistency and be overwhelmed and giddy if you don't get it. Look at C.J. Stroud. Didn't get it his rookie year. Have gotten it ever since. It's a very hard position to play. They're dependent on a lot of other people and coaching. And we as fans, and certainly we as media, we can't give them an inch. We can't understand it all. Like we were able to hit the ground running at our jobs at the highest level.
And by the way, one of those young guys that's got it going on is the guy in New England. Man, he seems to have some touch with the deep ball. That's something that gets fans and media and everybody else excited. Right. Oh, by the way, Jets, Bengals, Giants, the next 3 for the Patriots.
Bengals with Flacco. Although it's worth mentioning again, Joe Burrow returned to practice yesterday for the Bengals. He has to be activated within 21 days. He is planning on being activated and playing Thanksgiving night against the Ravens in 17 days from when he started practicing.
look at, I guess the Chargers, we've asked the NFC question. Who right now is going to be the 1 seed in the AFC? Colts, Broncos, Patriots, Chargers. I have trouble. I don't see a path for the Bills to get there. The Bills could, if the Patriots lose some games, could the Bills still win the division? Yeah, they could. But I don't see how the Bills win the division and become a 1 seed. Colts, Broncos, Patriots, and I guess Chargers, because they're 7-3, only a game back of the Broncos. Like right now, I don't see, the Kansas City's not winning the division. They're not. They can make the playoffs, but they're going to have to do all this on the road this year. They're going to be a wild card team if they get in.
And when they get in, are you going to pick against them? And that's why I wonder, there are certain times where we think having home field is a bigger advantage than others. Are you going to be all in on the Colts, the Patriots, or the Broncos because they are the 1?
No, I'm not. Of those teams, who do you think has the best shot to get through the AFC? Because look, the Ravens are coming, but we all know what they've done in January. The Ravens are winning that division. Write it down. It's not Pittsburgh. They're not good. But, right now, would you do you trust the Bills? Do you trust, I get why we trust the Chiefs. I get it. Their history, their quarterback, I understand. But they've not had to do this going on the road for 3 games.
No, but they did go on the road for 2 and win the Super Bowl. A couple years ago, as the 3 seed, they did have to win in Buffalo and in Baltimore. And they did. Now, I don't think they're that team, but then again, I don't know that what's around them is as good as Buffalo and Baltimore were 2 years ago either. Mark, and I'm not saying this because I picked them at the beginning of the year. I may put my money on the Ravens. Because if they get in, think about where they will have come from. 1-5. And they'll get a home game to start. And then imagine if the Ravens finishing the year, let's just say they win 8 out of 10, something like that, or 9 out of 10, 9 out of 11. They finish 10-7, going 9-2, and then they get a home playoff game and they win it. They're going to come to Indy, New England, Denver, having won 10 of 12 with all their experience.
It is fascinating, David, that the top 3 seeds could end up being the Colts, the Broncos, and the Patriots.
Right.
You look at when you look at the schedules ahead for these teams, it's tough for me to envision the Colts, Broncos, Patriots not being 1, 2, and 3 in some sort of order. It really is. Now, the Chargers could end up taking the Broncos. We'll see. But with what's ahead of them, I can see these being the top 3 seeds. And yet, if the Ravens win the division, which I think they will, if Kansas City gets into the playoffs, which I think they will, it'll be fascinating because I think the odds to win the AFC Championship, the favorites will be a division winner in Baltimore and a wild card team in Kansas City.
Imagine you're the 2 seed. Pick whichever team you want it to be, Mark. Congratulations. You've gone 12-5. Hell, you may have gone 13-4. What a season. Great job. Your reward is Mahomes and the Chiefs. Who you picking? Chiefs, Colts in Indy. Chiefs, Pats in New England. Chiefs, Broncos in Denver. In mid-January.
By the way, the current odds to be the AFC conference winner. The Chiefs are 3-1. The Bills are 4.5-1. The Colts are next at plus 475. The Ravens at 7-1. The Pats at 7.5-1. The Broncos at 8-1. Chargers are next at 12-1. The Texans, for what it's worth, have better odds than the Steelers. That's what Vegas thinks of Pittsburgh right now. So you're right. I mean, people will be picking the Chiefs, and it will be an upset. Even at home, I don't think, Denver gets the one. They end up in the AFC Championship game against Kansas City, which I don't know if that will even be possible with the way seedings go. But Kansas City will be favored. They will. Now, that could change. They get to play twice. They play this week. We'll see. Maybe there'll be distance put between Denver and the teams in that division.
Now, I will say, of the Colts, Broncos, and Patriots, I would rank the defenses Denver, New England, Indianapolis. So therefore, of those three teams, I think I would give the Broncos the best chance of going farther or the furthest, because I do think they're the best defensive team of the unproven commodities in the AFC.
I know what you're saying, and I know why you don't trust Daniel Jones. But to me, it's tough. I get the Broncos defense, and you're right. But from a complete offensive standpoint, the Colts, to me, are better than the Patriots and better than the Broncos. They have a running back that right now, if we were doing this fairly, would win the MVP. They have a legit number one receiver. They have a tight end that's a weapon. They have a second receiver that's pretty damn good. And their defense is top 10 in the league in allowing points. And they also don't let you run against them. So they can make you one-dimensional. So I don't know. I get what you're saying from a defensive standpoint. But when I put the whole thing in there, I'd put the Colts slightly ahead of the Broncos and the Patriots right now. They're all really close.
And I just have it in my head right now. And I had a huge man crush on this team 6 years ago. And I was pounding the table every week going, folks, they're going to be the one seed. They're going to be the one seed. It's all going to line up where everybody's going to have to go through Nashville. And don't be surprised if they make the Super Bowl. And do you know what happened at the end of the day?
Ryan Tannehill.
Right. And they had Derrick Henry. And they had gone to an AFC championship game 2 years earlier. They had playoff experience. The quarterback was the guy with the wins the 2 years previously. And they had it all in front of them at home. And they screwed it up. And I'm sorry. Daniel Jones has a lot of Ryan Tannehill in him.
No doubt. But I don't think in the postseason that Bo Nix or Drake May are going to beat you with their legs. I don't. And they've both shown, and I think Nix more than May this year, showing inconsistency. He's been unbelievable.
Well, he got off to a slow start. I mean, Geno Smith outplayed him week one. But yes, okay, took him a couple games, and then they got untracked, and he's been really good. I think the defense is better, quite frankly. I actually think their running back depth is better. But, yeah, they're the best coach team of the bunch, and that includes Sean Payton, who's won a Super Bowl. And goodness knows I've got a little bit of a crush on Shane Steichen. But yeah, I'll take Vrabel. Amongst those three, I'll take Vrabel.
So our poll question's about the NFC, even though we just talked a lot of AFC there. Who has the best chance of representing the NFC in the Super Bowl? Right now, you think it's the Rams by an over 2-1 margin over Philadelphia. Seattle third, Detroit barely on the page. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton to vote. We will switch gears and talk about what happened in New York with the Giants. Marc Malusis is next on Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it
Marc
real.
Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Football season is back and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
That'd be Slim and None, Smoke Dog.
Yes, Logic Man. Yep. Don't overthink it.
I have the big panties, but then I have a drawer.
Mm.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Marc Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour, the Diamond District bonus hour on Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. And joining us on the American Paint Supplies hotline, they call him affectionately Moose. First, it was Mike Musina. He patiently waited his turn. It's Marc Malusis, PIX Channel 11 in New York, WFAN on the radio. You can follow Marc with a C on X at Marc Malusis, Malusis. Marc, it's David and Marc. Thanks for doing this. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you guys?
Well, we're fine. Let's get to it. Did they have to fire Dable? Yes or no?
I just think it was just time. I think they get a look at Kafka to see if he potentially could be an answer. Final 7 games of the regular season for them over the final 8 weeks of the year. So I think that's a look, and I think it just had run its course. The blown leads in the fourth quarter. I think the fact that Dart, wasn't hammered home, getting down, suffered a concussion in that game against the Chicago Bears, which knocked him out of that game. I think all of those things kind of led to it. Coming into the season, he was on the hot seat. People were calling for change. There's no question. You give him credit for pinpointing Dart out of Ole Miss, and I think the Giants have clearly found their quarterback, but now it's a case of, where this entire team is. The fact that Russell Wilson was the backup quarterback and not Jameis Winston. Russ can't play anymore. More concerned about his well-being than he is about playing the position. When you watch him play, constantly staring at the rush. So I think it was just they needed to change course. There was no future here. It was going to happen, whether it happened during the regular season or whether it happened after the final game of the regular season. when everyone's pushing for the, he was going to go. It just wasn't good enough. A lot of losing after year number one. Doesn't help that Daniel Jones in Indianapolis is having the kind of year that he is having. And there was no one else to blame. I mean, for the last 2 years, everyone blamed Daniel Jones. Jones out of the building in Indianapolis, winning with Shane Steichen, and the losing continues. You throw in the fractured relationship with Wink Martindale, Shane Bowen being brought aboard as defensive coordinator. Martindale clearly a better DC because, got a distinct personality, can kind of wear thin on people, but Bowen is a step back. Defense hasn't played particularly well. Offense has been what it's been. He's dealt with injuries, but I think the Denver collapse and then this loss Sunday in Chicago, I think was just basically the final nail in the coffin.
All right. Is the right guy in charge to hire the next coach, though, Mark?
Yeah, it's a great question when you look at Joe Shane. I think there are probably a lot of Giant fans, if you took a poll right now, would probably say no. I think it'd probably be running like 75-25, 80-20, maybe 90-10. When you look at Joe Shane, that they would like to see somebody different. I don't know if the Giants really have the stomach for that kind of change where you change the general manager as well. I think there's some positives when you look at it. Obviously, Dart, Abdul Carter, the offensive line drafting, offensive lineman an issue. Kayvon Thibodeau, not necessarily the player that you draft in the top 10. Good NFL player. He's not great. Evan Neal has been a complete and utter stiff. And that was Joe Shane's first draft choice or first draft. Deontay Banks hasn't developed into an elite level cornerback. They hit on Malik Neighbors, hit on Cam Scadaboo, hit on, Jackson Dart. There's been some others, Tyler Nubin, Drew Phillips. I think I came into the year thinking that the head coach was more on a hot seat than the general manager. And I don't think that necessarily has changed. Is that the right call? I think when you're in a constant state of flux, and then when you change the general manager, that means you're potentially having changes in the pro personnel department and the scouting department, how you look players, the vision of the team, all that kind of stuff. I think the Giants now want to try and pinpoint the head coach that can try and win with the right adjustments in free agency and in the NFL draft and the right inclusion of talent to try and win under Jackson Dart's initial rookie deal before they have to pay him.
Marc Malusis, PIX Channel 11 in New York, WFAN on the radio. Follow him on X, Marc with a C, Malusis, Malusis. So when announcing the firing, they announced that Shane, the GM, is going to hire the next coach, and they said that a quality roster, a talented roster has been assembled. Your opinion as to the talent level with the Giants, how good of a roster or bad of a roster do you think it is?
I think in spots it's good, in other spots it's not. I mean, I think I don't think the Giants have quality depth, so when they suffer injuries, it's an issue. I think there are other teams that do a nice job of being able to draft, develop, find undrafted free agents that end up becoming good depth pieces for your team. I think they should be better than their record is. I'll put it that way. And, based on, the way they've played, they should never have lost the Denver game and, should never have lost the Chicago game Sunday. So is this a roster that's ready to kind of take that massive next step forward? No, I still think there's issues along the offensive line. I think they've got one of the best left tackles in the game in Andrew Thomas, who's like beyond elite. But outside of that, the rest of the line is okay. Runyon, Van Roten at the two guard spots, John Michael Schmitz, Jermaine Illuminor at right tackle. Illuminor is a good right tackle, but more of a journeyman than anything else. The offensive line needs to continue to be addressed. They can't stop the run. I mean, that's the other issue. I mean, you can't talk about being an elite level defense and be able to stop the run. I think they've got the wrong defensive coordinator for the talent they have on defense. I think their defense does have talent. When you look at when they're healthy, all three levels, when you're looking at the safeties in Nubin and Holland, when you're looking at Debo at one of your cornerback spots, Drew Phillips at one of the other cornerback spots, when you're looking at, Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, There is talent on that defense. I think you just have to have the right DC in place. Offensively, I think it's a little bit of a work. We'll see what Scadaboo is like coming off the grotesque injury that he suffered against the Philadelphia Eagles. I like Tyrone Tracy more as a number 2 than a number 1. I think they've got the quarterback. Theo Johnson is a good young tight end. Drops have been an issue for him, but as the old adage says in football, regardless of level, it doesn't matter whether you're playing, high school football, college football, NFL football. You got to win up front, and the Giants don't win up front. You can't talk about being an elite level defense if you can't stop the run, and you can't talk about being a dominant offense if you can't impose your will up front. So they got to learn from a team down the road from them with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's kind of been their bread and butter. It's been a staple of theirs with great offensive lines and great defensive lines, and that's where the Giants have got to do a lot of work. I wouldn't say it's overall a tremendously talented roster. I think that what they're buying into and what John Mara and Tisch and the decision makers with the Giants are buying into is the vision of Joe Shane, and he's going to be given a little bit more time here. Now, we'll see exactly who they bring in as head coach, but there will be a tremendous amount of pressure for that hire to be the right hire, because if it's not, then they will clean house.
Well, that's, Joe Shane, obviously they've told everyone he's going to make the decision. If this weren't the New York Giants, and I get New York and all the things that go with it, if it were, I don't know, this same roster in Indianapolis, how attractive would this job be to an incoming coach?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think Dart makes it attractive. I mean, I think and listen, Dart's real. I firmly believe that. I don't think this was a mirage or anything like that. Now, he needs to play smart. He can't take the hits that he's taken. Everybody was saying it. It was just a matter of time. I think he's been evaluated 4 times for concussions. Like, it's not sustainable. So you got to go out there and protect the asset. That makes it attractive, because that's the almighty search. When you look at it, yes, it's New York. Yes, it's a cornerstone franchise of the National Football League, a proud franchise. They've been to 5 Super Bowls. They've won 4 of them. They've been in some dark days as of late. They've had, the greatest defensive player the sport's ever seen in Lawrence Taylor, and great days, great coaches, right? So, but with all of that, I don't think it would be attractive because it's just the Giants. I think it'd be attractive because it's Dart. And I think when you have that young quarterback, I don't care where you're playing, whether it be New York, Florida, California, Texas, it doesn't matter. If you have any coach that looks at him and says, well, I think I've got the quarterback that I can win with, that makes that job attractive regardless of city or location.
Who do the Giant fans want? Is there somebody in the last 24 hours that Giant fans, there was a time in which they would have sold their soul for Belichick. It feels as if that time has come and gone, and he would have sold his soul for the job also. I'm just curious, is there somebody, Mark, that you sense the fan base wants?
Yeah, I think, the name that gets thrown out there is Gruden, because of, some of the videos when he was doing his quarterback school with Barstool of the stuff and, how big of a fan he was of Jackson Dart. And I think Gruden can coach, but there's a lot that comes along with that hire. I don't think he's a great player personnel guy. I think you saw that out in Vegas with some of the decisions that they made, whether it be in free agency or the NFL draft when he was teamed up with Mike Mayock. But, from a coach, that's the coach that I think a lot of Giant fans have kind of thrown out there. Do I think that's the place they go? Probably not. I mean, I don't. I mean, I think in this scenario, do you want to bring somebody in that's got experience? The other name that's been thrown out there, Mike McCarthy. I'm not necessarily sure that would be the hire. I would go down the road too. I don't think there's that sexy name. I think the gamble though now is, or the concern you have is, do you bring in somebody that, is inexperienced, from an NFL head coaching, and then it's a gamble, because there have been great coordinators. There's been great assistants, that don't necessarily turn out to be great head coaches. And this has got to be the right hire, because now the clock is ticking. Because, as you know, in the salary cap world in the National Football League, you want to win. When you find that young quarterback, you want to try and win under that initial rookie deal. Now, why is that case? Because you're not paying him. He's playing at elite level, conceivably, but you're not paying him elite level money. You're not paying him $35, $40, $45 million a year. And then you can use that money as expenditures in other areas to improve your team and build your team and try and win under that initial rookie contract. So the clock is ticking. It's got to be the right hire. I would think it's got to be somebody with some sort of head coaching experience.
Okay.
I don't know if Joe Shane and the Giants really have the stomach to gamble on somebody that is inexperienced in being a head coach.
Marc Malusis, WFAN PIX in New York.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I wanted to say it to him on air, but he ran long. He's got those walking dog things. He was actually on the line. I said, hey, man, I'm not trying to tell a New York guy how to do things because you're obviously better at this than I am. But those walking dog segments deserve a sponsor. You should never have to pay for dog food again. That's hysterical. I love when someone does something on X that I've not seen a lot of before. And that's just really simple. 2.5-minute talk about the team while he's walking his dog. That's funny. Well, Left Twix, you're asking the wrong. I've not had a ton of soft shell crab. When I've had soft shell crab, it's usually like fried or whatever, and it's fine. I don't think there's a lot of meat in it. I mean, king crab has the most meat. It's hard to get around here. I'm a stone crab guy. I'm not a blue crab guy. I like the stones. I don't mind the work. You know, if Michael's in there, he'll big league me and say, I get the colossals. Well, you know what? You got a lot more money than I do. I get the mediums. They're less expensive and I don't mind the work. And the only part where there's more work is in the knuckle. Although apparently from what I've been seeing online, it's been like a a jumbo year. Like the crabs are bigger this year than in years past. Adam, right now, what is your prediction for the final record at the end of the season of your beloved Jags? They are 5-4. Where's J&C, Smoke Dog? Nothing. For when I eat stone crabs, nothing. No cocktail sauce, no butter, no thing. Just crab. I'll make the mustard sauce like Joe's Crab does in Miami, but I just put that out there for other people.
Smoke Dog, where is J&C Crab?
On 6 Mile in Fort Myers.
Mm-hmm. Colonial across from Walmart. Okay.
It's a restaurant, though. All right.
Left Twix, I'm not a big experimenter with cheese. I eat like American and cheddar.
I think Skip One does a great job too, Logic Man. What? What? Seed to table, BOGO stone crabs? What the hell's going on?
Is that for everybody or just veterans? Because there are a lot of specials today that are just for veterans.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. A lot of NFL talk today. And some laughs at the LSU Brian Kelly story. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. The Diamond District bonus hour. Pat Kirwan, Marc Malusis, our guests. If you missed them, go to MillerandMoulton.com and download what you missed. Pat and Mark and all our guests joining us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
College football playoff is going to give their rankings tonight. You know, The Athletic has a writer who ranks everybody 1 through 136 or whatever the hell there are now in college football.
Right.
Which, by the way, Sam Houston won over the weekend, getting their first win. But Chris Vanini, whatever the hell his name is, I say it wrong every time. No disrespect. He has Miami ahead of Notre Dame. Now, I know that the rankings tonight will not reflect that. What I am wondering, David, is if Miami gains ground on Notre Dame from last week. Because I do think that is something that's going to come up again and again and again. Miami was 18, Notre Dame was 10.
In the AP poll, for what it's worth, Notre Dame moved up from 10 to 9. Miami moved up from 18 to 16.
Like, how far down does BYU go after getting whacked? by Texas Tech.
All right. Let me ask you this. If we take James Madison out of the equation because they have one loss, which one-loss team would you rank above the other, BYU or Georgia Tech? Because I think that's where you're establishing the line between the Big 12 team and the ACC team with one loss.
I
would be the lowest
I
ranked.
would rank BYU higher.
Okay, for
You
what
know,
it's
I
worth.
like Georgia Tech, but I
Yep.
think the BYU win over Utah at this point in time in the season, I believe is better than any win that Georgia Tech has.
And right now it is. And of course, as we've been talking about it for weeks, Georgia Tech, Georgia is going to be a monster game. Did you hear what Greg Sankey said? And I'm not changing the subject. Okay. I'm just coming around to a point I wanted to make. Did you hear what Sankey said yesterday?
I did not. Enlighten us, please.
He was speaking and he was at an event, and Sankey said he truly believes that, first off, there should be no automatic bids, and that you should just take the top 12 teams, and that he thinks this year the SEC would then get 8.
Huh?
Correct. So Greg Sankey believes that the Tennessees and the Missouris and the Vanderbilts of the world deserve spots in the playoffs before, I mean, I don't believe he said who the other 4 teams would be, but Mark, I got to be honest, going by that logic, that would then be what? The Big 3 and the Big 10 and Texas Tech, and the rest would be made up of the SEC?
Well, it's laughable. I'm sorry. It is. A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, fine. Texas, Vandy, Oklahoma, and Tennessee, all in? No. I mean, Missouri doesn't even have a 500 record in conference. So can we leave them out of the equation? And the fact that they're going to be in this top 25 tonight's a joke, okay? They're 2-3 in conference. Enough of Missouri.
I think Missouri's actually finally now going to drop out.
I hope so.
I do. I think
I hope so, because their best win's Auburn, or is it Kansas? Show me where they've had a credible win this season.
Well, I think if we start to drill down on some of these resumes, you know, what's Tennessee's best win is?
David, it's a great question.
They
Because
lost to Georgia, Alabama, and
let me give you
Oklahoma.
their wins. Syracuse, East Tennessee State, UAB, Mississippi State, Arkansas, and Kentucky. They don't have a good win. I get that they're the best conference, but enough of this crap of putting horse blank teams in the rankings just because they play in the SEC. Enough already. Tennessee does not deserve to be in the top 25. They don't.
I'll really run the risk here. What's Vanderbilt's best win? Is it Missouri?
It is.
And didn't the quarterback get hurt in the game from Missouri?
It's either that or LSU.
Okay.
I'm just saying that's, you know, South Carolina, they're awful. Virginia Tech, they're awful. Now, Oklahoma has some good wins. They beat Michigan.
Yeah. They also, I mean, listen, if you're going to consider Tennessee a ranked team and they're in the bottom of the top 25, Oklahoma did go to Knoxville and beat a ranked team. Okay. Yeah. You've beaten Michigan. You've beaten Tennessee. Tennessee on the road. Yeah.
And Texas beat Oklahoma, albeit with a quarterback that shouldn't have been playing. And they beat Vanderbilt.
Right.
You know, I struggle, and that's the problem is when you look at all of these ACC teams, it's tough to find, outside of Miami, to find a marquee win for an ACC team. I mean, Louisville beat Miami, but they've spit the bit.
Right. Lost at home to Cal. Oh, yeah. It's why the Georgia Tech Georgia game is as big as we believe it can be. Because it could really pierce an arrow through some of the SEC argument, but it could lead to a team not in the SEC in the Big Ten getting a playoff spot because people begin to look at things a little differently.
So with these unbalanced schedules, and we talked about this all year last year. So we're not just jumping on this train now, but with these unbalanced conference schedules, you're going to get a lot of this. You just are. I mean, where's the big, here's the other thing. I'm not taking anything away from A&M outside of Notre Dame. And if you don't think Notre Dame's a good team, then tell me where Texas A&M's good wins are.
Well, and this is unfair to Texas A&M, but it's what people are saying about Ohio State.
Right.
They're saying, tell me where Ohio State's good win is. And Ohio State's going, we scheduled Texas and we did go play at Washington. And when we played them, they were ranked. And up until last week, they were ranked.
But Indiana, they have the Oregon game. They got by Penn State. What do we think of Penn State now? So there is holes. The good news is for A&M, Ohio State, and Indiana, they still got that donut in the right-hand column.
Now, do we think the middle of the SEC is far better than the middle of the ACC and the Big 12? Hell yeah. Do we think it's better in the middle of the Big 10? Yes, we do.
But not by as much as what the SEC claims. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I mean, wouldn't it be great if we could have the Vandy, Oklahoma, Tennessees of the world? Now, Oklahoma did play Michigan. Yes, they did. And they hosted them and they won. Okay. But, it is interesting. USC, Michigan. Is the middle of the SEC that much better than USC and Michigan? Greg Sankey says they're deserving of 8, Mark. 8.
Yeah, he also wants 74 or 112 teams in the basketball tournament, too. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Marc Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
All right. I got a little bone to pick here. So I appreciate whoever it was that put that Bogo stone crab thing up. So I called Seed to Table, and I asked them. And they said, come on down and find out. And I said, now, I'm driving from Estero. Do you think you could let me know before I make the trek? And she said, I'm not denying it. So I don't know if I was talking with Mike McDaniel or Seed to Table there.
No. I forget who it was who's in the chat room who said, I'm heading over there now to find out.
Logic Man said, and he's still chatting, so he's not heading anywhere. Let's get to work, damn it. Can you guys help out? Come on down and find out.
But I'm not denying it, I think, is a tell.
And I agree.
That was well done by her.
Oh, if Georgia loses both of those games, they're out. Hell yeah, Left Twix. There is a way for the SEC to put themselves in a lot of trouble. Texas beats Georgia. Texas loses to A&M. Like, Ole Miss is in. That's the team to me that's in. Alabama and A&M as well.
Ole Miss's best win, by the way, is at Oklahoma. Their second best win is home against LSU.
Oh, Logic Man, I know you get all up in arms. It is gone after this year. I'm telling you right now.
What's that?
The tush push. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it is. The commissioner wants it gone. He'll get it.
And now because officials can't call a false start, I think the Big 12 gets 2 if BYU can play Texas to even. See, that's 3 losses. No, that's 2 losses. If they lose to Tech again, close in the Big 12 championship game, if they beat them, they're both in. I get your point of view, but you are acting like it's everything against the Eagles. The commissioner does. David hated this play before it ever became a controversy, by the way. He's been saying it before anybody else.
And I think you know my respect for the Eagles.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Marc Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till we're done for the day. Bud Elliott, Chris Perkins, on the show tomorrow. Wonder if Chris is headed to Spain.
Oh, man, I hope so for his sake.
Yeah. And if so, when? So we'll talk to the fine Dolphins columnist and beat writer for the Sun Sentinel tomorrow. And Bud Elliott, after the College Football Playoff Committee comes out with their rankings tonight.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Marc Miller with Today Was the Day When.
We start today in 1620. The Mayflower Compact is signed by the Pilgrims at Cape Cod, establishing the first framework of government in the territory that is now the United States. 1918, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The World War I treaty is signed. 1921, that is. President Warren G. Harding, you never go back to that administration, David. He dedicates the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington today. 1926, Route 66 is established from Chicago to Santa Monica, spanning 2,448 miles. Today in 57, Sun Records released Great Balls of Fire by Jerry Lee Lewis. It sells 1 million copies in the first 10 days. I find that remarkable because there's no way they were ready to press that many records in 57. Like, they had to be working overtime to get that many records pressed that quickly.
Agreed.
Today in 1971, Rolling Stone magazine publishes Hunter S. Thompson's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas articles. A savage journey to the heart of the American dream. It is something if you've never read it.
Well, he had a lot of toe tapping in him at times.
It's fantastic. With Dr. Gonzo on a massive drug bender through the desert, evading police paranoia and a ridiculously expensive room service bill. Today in 1978, the General Lee made the jump. 16 feet high, 82 feet long. It made TV history on the set of The Dukes of Hazzard. There were 300 different General Lees that appeared in the series. But the first one was the only one to play a part in every episode, and that jump over the squad car ran during the opening credits. 1981, Fernando Valenzuela becomes the first rookie to win a Cy Young. 1994, the horror film Interview with a Vampire was released. Brad Pitt, Christian Slater, Tom Cruise. And in 2008, Swifties started getting into it. Her second album, Fearless, was released. It would win, Album of the Year, Grammy Album of the Year, a bunch of stuff. George Patton and Jonathan Winters would have celebrated birthdays today. Warner Wolf is 88.
Let's go to the videotape.
Wonder if he's playing pickleball today. Fuzzy Zeller's 74. Demi Moore, 63. Leonardo DiCaprio is 51. And Ladd McConkey is 24. Probably the same age as Leo's current girlfriend. What did I miss, David?
I was just going to say that. That is so well done by you. So well done. One thing on this Veterans Day. It was on this day 83 years ago that Congress lowered the draft age to 18. They also...
Of course, none of them were anywhere near draft. They raised it to 37, though, so a couple of them maybe could still get drafted.
Right.
You can be 35 in the House of Representatives. So they opened a hole that they could get drafted. But I'm guessing all the ones that voted for it were over 37. It's just me.
So I think a year or so earlier, they had an opportunity to lower it. They kept it at what it was. Where, World War II is going on, and obviously our involvement in it, we had been in it for 11 months. They lowered the draft age to 18. Needless to say, tens of millions more men now eligible.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Marc Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What do you got, Mark?
We go to Inglewood for the good, where Matty Mondell just turned 90. Matty served for 30 years in the Navy. He is now a pitcher in the Inglewood Senior Softball League, and on his 90th birthday, he pitched for a win. Thank you for your service, sir, and glad to see you are still going strong. For the bad, we go to Matt Lachey, where a woman was caught on camera at a gift shop on Pine Island Road stealing a cat statue and concealing it under her dress. Jennifer Bennett's the owner of Island Flair. She wants to get her statue back, but as of now, the woman who hid the statue under her dress is on the loose. Finally, the ugly, we go to Port St. Lucie, where Port St. Lucie police released a video showing an encounter that they had with a 15-year-old girl. When police arrived, because the call was made about the teenager, the teen was in the middle of the roadway holding a shovel. She then approached the patrol car and started smashing the hood with the shovel.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Officers got out, tasers drawn, and she was arrested for felony criminal mischief. And that, David, is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, Veterans Day, November 11th. And it's brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Now hiring new officers, you know the drill. Great pay, great benefits, overtime opportunities aplenty. Where do they go?
CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com.
So there you have it. We've got football tonight. We're in the midst of that however many days in a row. We get good football from Thursday through Monday. We get Maction on Tuesday and Wednesday. Akron,
tonight,
a 5.5-point favorite against Kent State, and a biggie in Kalamazoo. Ohio, the Bobcats taking on the Western Michigan Broncos. The Broncos, a 1.5-point favorite. I don't know if it's really a biggie, but that's what I'm going with, David.
Kent State Akron on ESPNU at 7:30. Ohio, Western Michigan at 8 o'clock on ESPN2. We've got, obviously, NBA, NHL tonight. 6 games in the NBA. It's another NBC/Peacock doubleheader. East of the Mississippi on NBC at 8. You'll get the Celtics and the Sixers. West of the Mississippi, you'll get Denver and Sacramento on NBC live. But east of the Mississippi, that game will be on Peacock. It's the NBC Peacock coast-to-coast double dip. The early game east of the Mississippi on NBC, the late game west of the Mississippi on NBC, and then you switch Peacock for both.
A lot of ranked teams in college hoop playing tonight. Michigan hosting Wake Forest. The Wolverines, a 16.5-point favorite. That's probably my game of the night because it starts at 6:30. Florida and Florida State in Gainesville. The Gators, an 18.5-point favorite over the Noles. North Carolina's in action. Duke's in action. They're playing at Army, actually. But a couple of pretty good games featuring ranked teams. Two teams that hate one another. Kentucky and Louisville. Louisville, a 5.5-point favorite tonight against Kentucky. And then Texas Tech at Illinois. Illinois, a 3.5-point favorite in that one. And late night, if you are so inclined, number 23, Creighton, taking on number 21, Gonzaga. The Zags, a 12.5-point favorite.
So let me get this straight. Kentucky, with their $22 million basketball team, is a 5.5-point dog against Louisville?
On the road. I mean, that's all I'm saying.
I know.
Number 9, Kentucky, at number 11, Louisville. Louisville's a 5.5-point favorite. FGCU, for those of you in the 239, they are home against Georgia Southern tonight. FGCU, a 1.5-point favorite against Georgia Southern.
Hockey tonight, 9 games in the NHL. The TNT double dip, 7 o'clock, Toronto and Boston. Okay. But Anaheim and Colorado at 9:30 Eastern is your second game. Combined, they've lost 4 times in regulation so far this year. Anaheim's played 15 games. Only 3 times have they been beaten in regulation. Marc, Colorado's played 16 times. They've been beaten in regulation once.
Something's got to give.
It's a good game.
It is a good game.
2 teams who can skate. So that's
2 of the 3 leading scorers in hockey. And Carlson for Anaheim and McKinnon right now leading all scorers in the NHL with 29 points thus far.
So there you go. College Football Playoff Committee tonight, 4-letter network. They'll unleash their rankings. I don't have any, I don't have any great expectations. I'll be curious how far BYU drops. I'll be curious where Georgia Tech is, just because I want to see where they're positioned heading into the Georgia game. Let me ask you this. Do you think it's possible Texas could lose a close one this week and beat A&M and make the playoffs as a 3-loss team?
I do, David. I really do. Because they are giving the ACC no love whatsoever. Another team that I'm really curious about where they put them, because it will affect the rankings going forward. Where are they going to put Pitt? Pitt hosts Notre Dame, and they host Miami the last week. So I am fascinated by where they put Pitt in these rankings, David.
If you're an ACC fan, and I don't know if mathematically this could happen, but you need Pitt and Georgia Tech to win out, and you need 11-1 Georgia Tech and 10-2 Pitt in the ACC title game.
That means Pitt will have beaten Notre Dame and Miami. Think about that. I mean, they could look at A&M and go, what about us? And I know Pitt lost to West Virginia. It's inexcusable.
Right. But which is a worse loss, Pitt to West Virginia or Alabama to Florida State?
Pitt to West Virginia.
Probably.
Pitt to West Virginia. But and Pitt and Georgia Tech play one another, so that can't happen. Pitt finishes with Notre Dame at Georgia Tech, home for Miami.
Wow.
They've not played a tough schedule thus far. They sure finish with one. So we'll see if Pat Narduzzi and company can have it going on Saturday. If you're Miami, you're rooting hard for Pitt on Saturday. Hard.
I'll also be curious to see, do they keep Iowa ranked They fell out of the AP top 25. But, Mark, do they keep Iowa ranked so that this way when USC plays them, they're playing a ranked school?
Miller and Moulton. Bud Elliott. Chris Perkins on the show tomorrow. Chris has got back-to-back wins, and Bud Elliott's got a college football playoff ranking to talk about it. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
At the Diamond District, we know what you want.
Experience wall-to-wall diamonds during our diamond event, November 21st through 23rd.
This is our biggest event of the year, featuring an expanded collection of GIA certified diamonds, designer jewelry, and exclusive collections from Takori.
This is the perfect time to start your holiday shopping.
More diamonds, more choices. November 21st through 23rd, only at the Diamond District.
At the Diamond District.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
The 2025 Industry Appreciation Awards in Fort Myers have wrapped up, but the celebration of business excellence continues, hosted by the Lee County Economic Development Office, Horizon Council, and Horizon Foundation. This annual event honors the innovators, job creators, and community builders driving the region forward. Visit industryappreciationawards.com to see this year's winners and learn how local businesses are shaping a stronger, more resilient economy for Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
Marc Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This is Miller and Moulton.